bro.
Okay. Shalom, everybody. The water once again for tuning in. Sword of Truth, San Antonio. Shalom. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters teaching out and reaching out to the people.
Brother Kawakab.
Brother Kawakab, L.A. Judah. Shalom to him and the flock that he teaches. Shalom. Shout out isbhpk. Houston, ISBHPK Rochester, ISBHPK Norfolk, Virginia. I'm just making sure everything is kind of feels like it's not aligned right. Does that feel? Did you feel that? It feels like it's kind of like we're bending a little bit, man.
It's a little sideways.
Can you check that real quick?
You say you're bending that way?
It is sideways.
Just look at it real quick.
Yeah, you got tilted.
It would feel kind of weird. Thank you. Oop. No, now we're like this is Titanic.
How's that?
We're like in the Titanic.
That's better.
Yes, but there's no swords, and that's why I kind of went up in the first.
So where are we at right now? Are you up or down?
We're good. Just bring it up.
Lift it.
No.
Tilt it.
Tilt that Logitech, that little screen. Tilt it up. No.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah, tilt it. You gotta have some
Stop.
swords.
There we go. No.
Swords are gone.
Bring it up just a little more. Yeah, that's good. And we'll survive. I think we're good with that. Thank you, bro.
All right.
Once again, Thwada for tuning in, and I just felt like we were kind of like one of those pictures that are posted the wrong way. Felt kind of weird, but we'll survive. We will be good now. Today's class, I'm not going to say we're going to do a Shalom Bachar, Shalom everybody. We're not going to do like a distemper series, but I think it's important as we go into these classes, we kind of explain that there's different, when we deal with brothers, deal with different people that we engage in our life, there's just different spiritual issues that we come across, whether it's just dealing with a lot of sickness. We deal with Israel, and today the sickness we're going to deal with is narcissism. Okay, so the title of the class is
one of the many issues
of Israel. Now, the title of the class is called "Are You a Narcissist?" And we're going to go into narcissism and kind of dig deep into the meaning of it and the traits behind narcissism. And a lot of times, when people deal with Israel and their sickness, we like to say, "Oh, this brother is off. He's sick. He's selfish." And we like to leave these, he's out the spirit. We like to leave these issues just
he's warped out.
Kind of a surface. He's off, he's out the spirit. But in order to understand Israel, you got to get to the core of why people are sick. So if we get to the core of why people are sick, we can get to the solution of the sicknesses. So this is why we kind of go into the detail and the specifics behind certain ailments and conditions. Now what we do is, this is not about labeling. For instance, Esau likes to label our kids to have ADHD. He likes to label our kids with all these diagnoses so they can sit back and medicate. So they can sit back and give people drugs. Same thing with narcissism and a narcissistic personality disorder. People like to sit back and label these people with these issues, but we're not about labeling so that we can medicate. We're about kind of getting a classification of what people go through so we can start working on these things with a little more carefulness and a little more detail about it. If you can stay here in the middle, would be great, sir. About yes, sir. If you can stay here when we can all see you, it'll be perfect. Okay. There's enough spaces here. So when we're going to these classes, this is not about tearing down. This is not about destroying people, but it's really about painting a clear enough picture so we can understand some of Israel's many issues so we can help Israel. Does everybody understand? But narcissism is an issue that affects brothers, that affects marriages, that affects relationships. And the only real solution as we point these things out is for counsel and communication and bringing things out in the open so there can be clarity so we can all cope with these issues properly. Okay? So before we go into the specifics of narcissism or the narcissistic personality disorder, we're going to go into what spiritually or what historically people would label people with mental issues or outlook issues, what they were labeled as. and scripturally or back in Bible times, people that had issues, personality issues, outlook issues, mentality issues, they were labeled with having distemper. Okay, they were labeled with having different types of distemper. So what I want to first do is go into the definitions of distemper. So before we start, even back in the ancient days, people had labels for different spiritual, psychological orders or disorders. Okay, now Esau, over time and through his medicine and his alchemy, have specified sicknesses to a more detailed degree. But distemper is distemper. So let's go on to the definition of distemper in the 1828. And I want to go to the first definition of distemper, but it's the last set of explanation of distemper. Just read just somebody get up and give me the first one, and we'll go into it.
Distemper. Definition number 1. Literally, an undue or unnatural temper or disproportionate mixture of parts.
So when you're dealing with somebody who has distemper, they have a disproportionate way of looking at things, a disproportionate mindset,
or distorted,
a distorted
lens
view of things, a distorted lens of processing information, how they look at people.
It's not a natural lens.
Kind.
That's what makes it abnormal. They call it abnormal psychology.
Yep.
When you study psychology, you go into it's called abnormal psychology. There's normal psychology. Okay, man needs water, air. He needs to feel important. He needs
this hierarchy of needs.
He has a hierarchy of needs. He needs a point to feel spiritual. He has a desire for belief. He has to work. He has to exert himself.
Yep.
There's nothing wicked or wrong about having needs.
Yep.
But when you're doing abnormal psychology, it is abnormal, meaning the distorted. It's not normal.
It's not. It's unnatural.
It's not natural. That's
Yes.
what abnormal means. So we're dealing with the abnormal or unnatural perspective, a distorted perspective.
God. So that's the first part, the disproportionate mixture of parts. However we're put together, however we're wired, however mankind is wired, there's some glitches there. Okay? That's a more mechanical way of explaining it.
Yeah, that's a better way.
There's a glitch in the engine.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're all Israelites, and we're all here sick. So all of us in some form or fashion has some glitches in our engine. Glitches in how we process things.
Yeah.
Glitches and distortions in how we handle situations in our life.
Yes, in certain parts are warped.
Okay, so now we're going to explain in number 4 how we get to more specifics about this disproportionate mixture of parts. So give me number 4.
Okay, so distemper, definition 4. Bad constitution of the mind.
Then we start to get more specific that distemper is a bad constitution of the mind.
1828 Constitution.
1828, you mean?
Yeah.
So somebody else get constitution while the brother holds distemper definition.
What do you mean by bad constitution?
Constitution.
Stand up.
The state of being.
I don't want no American Constitution crap in there.
I know. There is
I don't want no Bill of Rights in there, bro. All right, no Bill of Rights. Let's scratch the Bill of Rights part out. Is there anything else there?
The state of being, that form of being or peculiar structure and connection of parts, which makes or characterizes a system or body.
It's the structure and the system. So you said a bad constitution or a bad structure?
A bad structure of the mind.
It's the way my mind is structured is not proper.
And so it means how I perceive things, how I look at things, how I react to stress, how I react to pressure, how I react to fear, how I react to being insecure, how I react to all things. Anger, frustration. All these things are examples of bad constitutions of the mind, which are examples of distemper.
Yeah.
Okay? And what we're going to read about is that Israel has had distemper in their minds since the beginning of time. This is not a new thing. The Most High would sit back here and send people distemper, or they just had distemper.
Yeah.
It depended. There was a time when what's his name, Saul, had distemper of the mind, to where he was getting choked out in his dreams. There was also people who had taken Abraham's wife. Abimelech took his wife thinking it was his sister, and the Most High gave him distemper in the mind until he realized, damn, I wasn't supposed to touch your woman.
Why'd you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me? I'm going crazy.
I couldn't tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now there's many different forms of distemper. Okay. So now continuing, do number 4 again.
Yeah, gotcha. So distemper, definition 4. Bad constitution of the mind. Undue predominance of a passion.
Undue predominance of a passion.
That's very important right there.
Exactly.
Because undue means unnecessary.
And unnatural.
And unnatural. Predominance. I mean, this is what predominates their mind.
Yep.
Shashawan went to not phobia. He went to paranoia the other day, right? And the paranoia clash always in with a person that no matter where you're going or how you're dealing, they're looking at as if you're some type of way of attacking them. There's a pre-existing notion that you're there to attack them or to hurt them. That is a predominating thought. So when it says undue predominant, it's talking about this is an unnatural pre-existing notion in their mind.
So what you're saying is, well, even what Shamshwan was saying is paranoia is a form of distemper as well.
It's a form of distemper.
There's many forms of it, and there's different extremes. We're sitting back here laying the foundations, because when we're going through the specifics, it'll make more sense. We're just laying down that what we're about to go into is a form of distemper. Okay? So read that part again, number 4.
Gotcha. So, bad constitution of the mind, undue predominance of a passion or appetite.
Go to number 5.
Number 5, want of due balance of parts.
There is a lack of due balance of parts. How you're structured mentally, how we process things mentally. There is a deficiency in how we process things and how we intake information, situations, and circumstances. Because when you get to the core of all men, the core of counsel is to sit back here and find out how to refix these disproportionate parts of the mind.
And that's what counsels are for.
That's what counsel is all about.
We're not counseling so we can feel big. We're not counseling so we can spend hours and hours of our life looking at your flaws and your life issues.
To judge you.
We're counseling and we're actually strategizing, structuring, and listening and watching and detailing and understanding so we can find what is the missing piece.
And how do we need to restructure how you process things and look at things.
For your betterment.
Because, once again, half the time,
Yeah.
the world is why we're broken in the first place.
Yeah.
What we've gone through in the world, the things we've experienced in the world,
Yeah.
create the brokenness in us. So now we're sitting back here trying to find out how to spiritually repair the outlook.
Yeah.
There's a reason there's a want of due balance of parts.
Yeah.
It comes from broken homes,
Yeah.
dislodged families,
Come.
just broken, messed up situations that cause this different fragmented way of looking at life.
I gotta say this right here.
Yes.
Just to be clear and honest, not to be vague whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at how people internalize messages, right? When you're age 1 through 5, they say the home is the first school place, right?
Yes.
They say the mother is the first teacher.
Yep.
This is known in all psychology. This is known in just human development. So when your home life is distorted in some sense, or the mother is distorted in some sense, the child will naturally internalize those messages.
Yep.
And as the part, people are born a certain way, which is yes, and it's also a form of his parenting. There's genetic issues,
Mm-hmm.
there's parenting issues, and there's environmental issues. Those are all components of a person's mind or what they extend to be over when they get older.
So now we're in number 5, right?
Yep.
Read that again.
Distemper, definition 5. Want of due balance of parts or opposite qualities.
What does that mean? Want? To lack?
It's a lack.
Okay, to lack.
So the want of due parts, or the want of due balances of parts, is the lack of the necessary parts needed to operate and function in the right spirit.
Okay.
Okay? And then it says,
or opposite qualities and principles.
Opposite qualities and principles.
That's very important.
From what? The opposite, the natural way of doing things.
Listen,
it's the opposite
opposite
principles of looking at things in comparison to a spiritual man.
Can I ask this question? For example, like a warrior.
In terms of what the natural man is not like the spiritual man. That's in 1 Corinthians.
He's contrary.
God, he's
and
contrary.
when you deal with, I'm not gonna be extreme, but when you deal with Satanism, right? Satanism.
Oh, here we go.
I'm not gonna go extreme. I'm not gonna go extreme. I'm not gonna do it. But when you go into Satanism, you always go into the beginning of Satanism is when they excrement on the ground.
Yeah, they go opposite.
They're feral. They don't. You don't use the restroom. You use the restroom next to the next.
You start doing feral actions.
You do feral action, which means you use the bathroom wherever you're at. You use the restroom. You vomit. You piss. In your physical environment, you don't do it in the natural environment because it's about going contrary to natural notions.
So once again, what you're saying is, let's just put it scripturally. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 2:14. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 2:14 real quick, because we got to make sure. I don't want to just sit back and just go medical journals all damn day long. I want to kind of keep things scriptural, spiritual as possible. So this definition, it says one of due balance of parts, opposite qualities and principles. Okay, read on in your thing down. It says as the temper and distemper.
Got you. So it says as the temper and distemper of an empire consists of contraries.
So you have your temper and you have your distemper. You have your opposite mindset. You have the right mindset, and it's constantly going to war with each other. So what he's telling you is this distemper is a lack of a balance of parts, or you have these opposite parts that fuel a negative way of looking at things. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 2:14 real quick.
Come. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14 reads, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High.
The natural man, for example, is that spirit or that mindset of that person with distemper. That person with that disproportionate mixture of parts. That carnal way of looking at things. That carnal sense of indulgence. The carnal justification to look at things in the flesh. Read on.
For they are foolishness unto him.
To operate spiritually, to operate in the right frame of mind is foolishness. It doesn't make sense, and they don't have a clue on how to get it accomplished.
For a man that it has normalized a distorted perspective.
God.
Eating off the floor is distorted, but that's normal to me. Then you eating with plates and forks is unnatural.
And once again, we're just painting a picture, laying a foundation before we continue further in our explanation. We're just explaining the roots of distemper. Okay? So now let's go continue in the scripture, sir.
Come.
Did we finish with that verse?
No. Neither can he know them.
Neither what? No. It says neither can he know them.
Yep.
Why can a person not know spiritual concepts or can't absorb or appreciate spiritual concepts?
Well, I give you definition 3 on the verb part. Give it to me.
Got you. On the verb? Not want?
No, number 3.
Oh, okay, 3. Got you. Distemper 3. Want of due.
No, 3. The second part of it is a verb part of it. Keep rolling down.
Got you.
Got you.
There you go. Distemper. To deprive of temper or moderation.
That person with distemper is deprived of moderation.
Okay.
They're deprived of the ability to see things spiritually. To be spiritually discerned, meaning I don't understand ways of the spirit, nor am I even looking towards operating and functioning in a spiritual capacity. And this is where we run into our issues with your different forms of being distempered.
Mental extremeness.
In the extremeness, is one thing is you're mentally extreme, but also the part is that you think that you're okay. That's where the narcissism really starts to kick in as one of the forms of distemperament. It's the fact that you don't think you have distemper.
They have people that they eat styrofoam.
Okay.
They eat styrofoam. They have these unnatural desires where they have to always be tasting metal. I gotta always taste metal, because that's what gives them that they feel it's obsessive and compulsive.
Yes.
I have an obsessive compulsive nature to chew on something on wood,
Uh-huh.
or I had to eat styrofoam,
Mhm.
or I had to taste metal, or I had to taste chemicals. I had to smell, huff chemicals, because it's a compulsive nature. So it's normal to me.
And those things, as Dawia is explaining it, they seem very extreme, which they are. Those scenarios, they're like 1 in a million cases, and people they're off the chain, and they're sick, and they gotta get their stomach pumped, and they need a lot of psychological treatment. But what we're about to go into is more common than people
The
think.
common form, yeah.
This narcissism is more common than people think, and this is why we're going into it. It's not as infrequent as the guy that wants to eat wood chips and eat metal. Those are different forms of that compulsive mindset, of that distemper mindset.
Yeah.
But this narcissism is something more real and more closer to home than you think. Over my 25 plus years of teaching the Bible, I've seen a lot of people that operate and have this narcissistic mindset. It isn't just something that's just popping up. Just the understanding of it is coming more to life. Okay? So now we're on distemper. Let's get the last one. Let me make sure. You know what? I think we've painted the picture of distemper enough, unless you want to bring some more distemper definitions on. What I wanted to do is at least connect distemper, because you're not going to find the word distemper in the scriptures, but in the Josephus it's brought out 1,000 times about the word distemper. Now what I want to do is go into Josephus, book 3, chapter 11, paragraph 3, just to explain what the Hebrews did and what their solution to deal with people with these different type of distempers were. There was a way that the law spoke of. There was a way that even during the time of Christ, people that had distempers, they were treated a certain way. And not that we want to do this, but we don't have that luxury anymore. And Christ pretty much told us that the way that the Jews back in the day that would distemper, there was a better way to do it.
There's a better way.
There's a way better way, because the way the law of Moses kind of kicked in, if you had distemper, you was in trouble, man. You was in a trick bag forever. Now, let's get this. Josephus, book 3, chapter 11, paragraph 3.
He also ordered that those whose bodies were afflicted with leprosy and that had a gonorrhea should not come into the city.
So now, I want to go and kind of jump to at the bottom where it says, and for the lepers. So before you go there, I just want to explain, this is dealing with people with leprosy. Now, people that had leprosy, they had the different changing and blotching of skin. So what ended up happening, if you had the blotching of skin, or if you had gonorrhea, you couldn't sit back and inhabit the cities. You had to inhabit the outskirts of the city, live in tents, and be away from the camp. If you had leprosy, you had to stay away. Now we're going to tie the leprosy in with the distemper. Now read, and for the lepers, I don't know what number that is in the Josephus.
264.
Was that?
264.
Okay.
And for the lepers, he suffered them not to come into the city at all, nor to live with any others.
Listen, so if you had leprosy, you went to the priest, and you had the splotches, and you had the different color rising out of the skin, the hair was blonde, you was out of there.
Get out of here.
Get him out of there, right?
Let's
If
get
your
him
whole
outta
body
here.
wasn't clean leper, it was like, get him out of here, right? They gave him a week. I don't know why you laughing, crying. But listen, you got a week, and you come back to the priest and make sure it wasn't just something temporary. You come back after that week, you was out in the woods, right?
Out in the swamp.
You was out in the swamp, right? But let's keep reading.
As if they were, in effect, dead persons.
And that's the scary part. When people
As
sat
if
back
they
here,
were- You're dead to me.
listen, they were dead, but they had to. But let's keep reading. Why? Let's keep going.
But if anyone had obtained by prayer to the Most High the recovery from that distemper,
Now listen, he's still telling you that the leprosy was directly connected with the distemper. It wasn't just that you just had some skin ailment and you just needed some hydrocortisone and you were gonna be okay.
I had to cool down.
Or just hydrocortisone. When you have those rashes and stuff, you get the hydrocortisone and you're good.
Yeah.
He's saying this. The leprosy was a direct reflection of having distemper.
Yeah.
It was having that unstableness of the mind, that negative outlook, that mindset that wasn't spiritual. That was where the leprosy came from. And if you had mental issues that you couldn't overcome, and you can see you get this negative outlook of situations and people, then what the priest would do is just send you out until you figured it out.
Let's get him out of here.
Until you figured out that mindset, then if you figured it out, the Most High will take the leprosy off you.
Come.
You can go back to the priest and you'll be re-released into the city.
Yeah.
But how many people that you know that deal with negative outlooks, different extremes in their nature, are able to overcome those extremes on their own? Very few people are able to overcome obstacles when you're just focusing on you, on your own pace.
That self-mending.
You're gonna burn off like 20 plus years, bro.
It's a farce, bro.
All you read about Christ dealing with is who? These people that have distemper. These people that were leprous. These people that were sick. Because he understood. Listen, the Pharisees were looking down on them because they had issues they couldn't overcome. Christ would heal them, and they'd be able to operate again. So that example that Christ showed is the example for us that we have to sit back and not quit on our people.
And it shows the superiority of Christ's method versus the concept of the law. And we're not banging on the law because we are about the law. We embrace the law. But we're saying the law concept for these other issues, there's Christ's method is more nuanced and solves these psychological issues better than just strictly
and doesn't let us off the hook with these issues. Just because we can sit back and be Captain Obviouses. This person's got negative in him.
You're wicked.
You're wicked. Get out of here. Yeah. That's not good enough. We got to sit back and acknowledge, diagnose a problem, and then work on that person.
He has a blotch on him. Let's get out the city.
That's the point.
That's
how it used to be.
For a period of time.
Exactly.
But Christ's like, okay, now how are we going to handle?
Remember that guy that was just right at the pool that when the waters move, all you just get in the water? Mm-hmm. He was so messed with the head he couldn't get in the water.
Distemper.
It was distemper. Why are we going here? We're just taking a little time to explain distemper before we go into the class, the meat and potatoes of the class. Yes, sir?
It's kind of like triaging. When you got a group of patients, instead of kicking them out of the hospital, you assign one of them, this is immediate, this is delayed, this one's about to die, we need to get him in right now. This one, okay, he probably got 24 hours, this one probably got a week, and you deal with them like...
You segregate them based on
different
their situation.
Based on the urgency, then prioritize.
And what we're dealing with now, half the problem is the diagnosis.
Right.
When you're sitting back, you're dealing with counseling brothers, counseling wives, keeping houses together. Half the battle is having the ability to clearly see what the spiritual problem is,
or
so we can go ahead and start working on these spiritual flaws.
Or you're looking at a big question mark and we're throwing and we're guessing and we're throwing, we're trying to throw something against.
We're guessing or we're angry. We're taking these issues personally.
And it's not gonna fix anything.
Because that's what happens a lot of times. We get frustrated about the sickness and then we attack it and we just get angry.
You're just effing out the spirit.
And we get angry, we raise our voice with loud noises. We start making loud noises instead of sitting back here and not taking the sicknesses personal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we're taking the time to go into these different type of aspects and angles of understanding different outlying levels of selfishness. Because this one's about different levels of selfishness. I can sit back here and say, man, this brother is selfish. This brother is negative. This person is hateful. But there's more to it. And sitting back here taking the time to have enough love to really understand all the details is the first start to helping somebody deal with these issues. Okay. So,
and that's another reason why. A lot of times you have to be specific and detailed because people always say it's not me.
Yep.
To be dead honest.
And that's another thing. Because if you just say, oh, you're selfish, that's not enough to get a person to see.
They say you're selfish because I saw you drink 2 beers and you had 2 plates. It's not the same, bro. Throwing hands on people and eating 2 beers, drinking 2 beers,
and 2 plates.
Not the same level of selfishness, bro.
That's hilarious.
That's what people do.
2 plates.
That's what we do that, bro. You drink 2 beers and eat 2 plates.
You had 4 pieces of chicken
and 4 pieces of chicken, and you're the worst man ever. But you can sit here and be the devil out then there'd be the devil, and it's the same equivalency. That's called false equivalency.
Okay.
So we're getting specific to help people see themselves so we can get to work. Because Israel will deny the reality for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then after 10 years, year 10 comes in, dude, you know what? I think it's time to change.
Yeah.
You lost 10 years, bro.
Okay.
We all do that. Well, we all shouldn't do that. But I hope this generation catches on faster.
Okay.
We don't have that much time.
We don't have that time. But, the thing is, brothers have been ostracized. Brothers have been misdiagnosed for years with different issues versus being able to properly show people themselves. And I think this is one of the many things we got to keep going into to help Israel. This isn't going to solve any problems, but at least helping people paint pictures of what their elements are. Maybe they can sit back here and fight it with a little more zeal and strength. So I want to finish up this part in Josephus. Read that "and for the lepers" part again.
And for the lepers, he suffered them not to come into the city at all, nor to live with any others, as if they were, in effect, dead persons.
So the Most High will cut off people with these mental outlook disorders. He will just cut them off. Because if you're going to look at it big picture, it's easier to cut a person off from these mental outlook issues than to sit back and have everybody contaminated with the sickness.
Yeah.
It's easier, but it's not Christ-like. Right? Read on.
But if anyone had obtained by prayer to the Most High the recovery from that distemper,
the only way, really, is to sit back and acknowledge your issue in prayer and a lot of humility would help pull off that distemper. But if the Most High took that mental sickness out of you, read on.
And had gained a healthful complexion again.
Your outlook and how you looked at things and how you processed things was directly connected with your skin blotches
and your physical
and the inconsistencies in your skin. Yeah. That's how the Most High kept Israel in check. When your outlook was off the chain, you started having blotches. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you bad.
I was cool just a week ago.
Everybody knows you bad now.
I'm 25. I was good, man. I was 25 years of being right. Now my outlook is messed up. Now I got blotches. I got them in spots I can't hide.
Yeah, like
I gotta hear what got you. You know, on your face.
Talking crazy at the.
What you gonna do now, bro? You stuck.
Everybody can see it.
Everybody can see it. If it was on your elbow, you can hide it. You can put it with long sleeves forever. No, I got you right where I want you.
Yeah, they got the Michael Jackson glove.
Exactly, you can't hide it. Yeah. Like why look like a better one now? Everybody wants to look like a better one, like they're like all faces, eyes, all you can see. Get out of here, bro. I got you. You can't hide this. So now let's keep going.
And had gained a healthful complexion again. Such a one returned thanks to the Most High with several sorts of sacrifices.
Oh yeah.
Concerning which we will speak thereafter.
So once again, what that was all about was just explaining that the leprosy and the distemper was all connected into one. The negative outlook and the skin blotches all circled together. So now that we got that, now what we're going to do is start going into literally explaining what narcissistic personality disorder is. Okay? So, I'm gonna be bouncing with different like medical journal articles, and if you want them, you can let me know, and I can sit back here and give them to the brothers in class. And I tried to sit back here and be fancy and be the computer guy and type it up and put it on the screen. I just couldn't do it. So y'all just gotta. These are the papers. It's there. It's in color and all that stuff. I will read them out and explain them as we go through all the specifics.
We'll get fancy later, man.
We need like moderators that just knock things out, you know. Anyway, that's another thing. But this is where we're at. We're right now, okay? So we're going to explain narcissistic personality disorder, okay? So what we're going to do is start here. It says, according to the American Psychiatric Association, this is real stuff, all right?
The African American.
Listen, I'm gonna sit back. We gonna go. This is Esau talking this shit, so it ain't like this. This is a war making stuff up to try to be all wise and spiritual.
They got a book for that.
I know that. He had a lot of books on this.
I got that book.
Ah, he set it up. You stupid damn narcissist. He says, "What you say about you?" He's like, everybody's a brother side. If you want this information, it's at the B house.
It's in the book.
Probably on chapters 1 through 7. It's right there for you if you want it.
And my name's in the book, just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, my name's on the book. You can borrow it, but you got 2 weeks. Then it must come back, or I will come find it.
I have a particular set of skills.
He's got skills, He will retrieve what was lost, what was taken from him. Now listen, what's crazy is that when we're going into it, we're going to go into the specifics, but what hit me when we were reading it, when I was reading it, it said, before I go into the actual characteristics, it said, to say that a person has narcissistic personality disorder, the person must have at least 5 of the symptoms discussed above. So just because a person might have one issue in his head, one issue in her head, doesn't mean you're a narcissist. Okay? It's not like it's just relegated to like, if you got one thing, you're the bad guy.
You're the Joker.
That would be unrealistic anyway. But if you have 5 of these traits, hey man, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, man, guess what?
If you got 2 feathers,
oh, if you got
tail,
2, if you got 2 at least, cool.
And
you got 3, yeah, you got whack.
Oh, the duck! I didn't know it.
Now you're a duck. So we're just explaining. If you have 5 of these aspects in you, hey man, we got some work to do. If you got 4, you got some shit to work on. How about that, Adam? You're just not literally identified as that person.
Yeah.
But it's important that we go into this. So the first part just explains that you have to have at least 5 of these symptoms, and there have to be consistent in you. There have to be it says continuous in you.
5 distortions.
5 distortions that constantly pop up in your life. And the truth is, this is why you need brothers to sit back here and if they can confirm these things, if you got it in you. Because you gonna sit back here, you ain't gonna pick a couple of them and admit to them out.
Yeah.
This is why you need brothers to sit back and say, hey man, do I have 5 or not?
Yeah.
You need to have honest people around you to confirm these things. So what we're gonna do first, I gotta say, we're gonna start off with A. And it says narcissists are in love with an idealized, grandiose image of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's important that it says they're in love with an image of themselves.
What does that mean?
What it means is they're not in love with, there's a lot of self-hatred in themselves. So to neutralize that self-hatred in themselves,
Self-loathing, yeah.
that self-loathing, they create a costume that they love. They create an ideal of themselves that they love.
To contrast.
It's an ideal of superiority.
It's like the guy that's really weak, and to contrast that weakness, he gets a whole head to toe, got tattoos all over his body, head to toe, to get the tough guy image. But I'm doing it because I'm not a tough guy.
Yeah. That's a part of it.
I'm not saying it's throwing a person off. It's the costume.
It's falling in love with the self-imposed ideal about you. To the point where if you don't really know that person, you would assume that's what they are. Because that's all they show you.
They project.
Everything is about projection.
Yeah.
It's about the costume. It's about creating this image of strength, of infallibility, of perfection. Okay? So now, let's see. Where is it? 1 and 1. Okay. Okay, here it is. It says,
that was number 1.
yeah, we're gonna explain a little more. So it says, in psychological terms, narcissism doesn't mean self-love, at least not of a genuine sort. It's more accurate to say that people with narcissistic personality disorder are in love with an idealized, grandiose image of themselves, and they're in love with this inflated self-image, precisely because it allows them to avoid deep feelings of insecurity.
So it's saying what?
So instead of sitting back here and hating myself. Instead of sitting here and attacking and destroying myself, I create an alter ego.
A character.
I create a character, and I play this character. And in me playing this character, I fall in love with this character.
I'm not the character.
But I fall in love with the character.
But I method acted to the character.
Exactly. There's a lot of our people that operate with a costume, with a false sense of strength, a false sense of positivity, a false sense of spirituality. And it says, because it allows them to avoid deep feelings of insecurity. It says, but propping up their delusions of grandeur takes a lot of work.
And we gotta explain delusions of grandeur.
Okay.
Delusions of grandeur it's a concept of mind where I'm looking at something and everything's about grandiose expectations. I'm the baller, I'm the best, I'm the smartest, I had the best test score.
Or I'm on this spiritual level.
I'm the most spiritual. They're always the winner.
I'm trying to make sure I paint it as much in a spiritual form as possible.
Well, okay. Well,
yes. You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Okay.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm just saying that on top of what you're saying, we create these egos and these personalities in the truth also.
In their stories, they're always the good guy. They're always the winner. They're always the hero.
Yep.
That's how you know somebody's crazy.
Yep.
Every story, and you know, I happened to be the man at the time, and I happened to solve the problem.
Yep.
Every time, every story, we call them toppers. The guy's a topper.
Always
a topper.
They always have a better story than you, a bigger state. I had it worst. I had to fight 10 people. You had to fight 15. I had to fight 20. They always had to one up people around them because it's about them being bigger, inflating themselves amongst men. It's that war for superiority and leverage over other people because I can't hum myself to other people or I can't sit here and do my proper natural order. So I gotta wear a costume that makes me superior to you.
All facts, man.
That's an aspect. We're not saying that is the narcissist. We're saying this is an aspect of narcissism.
It's you know what it is? It's that narcissist is hard to get to the real person. It's hard to get to the real brother. It's hard to get to the real sister. Because all you get is layers of this image.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to it's hard to even counsel a brother that operates with this narcissism because all you get is a representative. All you get is a strong guy.
Layers.
All you get is the good reports.
Yeah.
All you get is are these positions of strength. These positions of potency.
Yeah.
You never get to the core of a man. And it's like a brother will never, or a sister will never let you in. Because it's all about protecting the image. And it's protecting how you look at them.
Yeah.
Because if they tell you the real them, then they'll look down on you. So I have to sit back here and create this grandiose image of myself. Because if I show you the real me, I don't think you're going to accept me.
I can't lose the character I've created. Remember,
because the character I've created makes me feel like I'm on par with you.
Yeah.
And if I lose that position as the character, now all of a sudden you're going to look at me differently, and I can't handle how you look at me differently.
I don't want that.
I don't want you to look less of me than who I am. That's why loving that image is so important for the narcissist. So what are you going to say? I'm going to cut you off.
No, I was just saying that's an aspect of narcissism, to create an inflated projection and to project an image that's not real. But I have to bring this character to life to hide my natural insecurities, which is it's a defense mechanism. We're saying this is an aspect of a narcissist.
Exactly. This is an aspect.
That's
why I said, listen, you might have this and none of the other ones, so you're okay. but having that aspect is a real problem.
Yeah.
Hold this and go to Isaiah 30:1. And the Most High tells you that same process of creating this image to hide the insecurity and the falseness and the weakness in you is a problem.
And I can use it also. We can also go on a national level. When you look at America, America projects itself as a place of liberty, freedom, equality, justice, fairness.
For all.
For all, right? But the reality is they're a police of all the resources of other nations, and they destroy their own people, and they imprison their population, and their policies don't match their projection. So do you get the idea? Because America's very narcissistic.
God. Well, let's go. Isaiah 30:1.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Most High, that taketh counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Now, why are we covering? Why are we covering?
I'm going about the covering. It's about creating and putting a false covering on.
Okay.
Now, we understand that false covering on, most of the time, it's a covering in carnal.
Not the biblical identity of being a Hebrew Israelite man or woman.
No. It's not about being Israelite, because they were all Israelites who knew who they were in Isaiah 30 anyway.
Exactly.
It's about people that create this covering, but that covering wasn't of the Most High in Christ. If we're gonna sit back here and be of Christ, there has to be a transparency and the realness about who we are and where we at and where we stand with the Most High.
Authenticity, right?
There's an authenticity that has to come from serving the Most High. And he's like, the individuals that don't establish that authenticity and put different coverings, different type of shields and protection over themselves, they're out of pocket with the Heavenly Father. So read that part again.
Con. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Most High, that taketh counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my
spirit.
And
I put these costumes on that the Most High is against.
Exactly.
I wear these layers. The Father's against these layers that I'm projecting.
And these are just different aspects of this temper.
Yeah.
And this temper, when a person is operating in a false state, when a person is operating with this costume or this image of what they want you to look at, there is this temper there. Because so I have to live a lie, to operate with this false identity and not be honest and straight up about where we are as men and women. If we can't operate in truth and honesty, then what are we doing? Well, you will be surprised how many men and women operate in a lie. How they create and manufacture a false presentation about who they are to protect themselves from shame, from looking bad, from being embarrassed, from running from the lesson the Most High has for them. In 20, 30 years of teaching, it takes people years sometimes to unmask and be honest and come with the directness that's necessary to get healed. Okay? So, you got something down here?
I got a scripture.
Okay.
It says Colossians 3 and 9. It's real quick. Real quick point.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 9. Lie not one to another.
Lie not one to another. Now, am I lying with
I was going to go into the lies next.
Okay.
No. But you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
It's right on it because we're going to go there soon anyway. So, yeah.
Lie not one to another. The lie would be what? Is it a verbal lie or is it how I project?
The projection is the lie.
The projection is the lie. Read on.
Seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds.
And the old man with his deeds is my defensive mechanisms. Because the old man's based off of having a defensive mechanism to function in the world.
Yep.
Now, biblically, that we're Israelites, we have scriptures to defend ourselves from the wiles of the darks of the world. The world's hard to navigate through. So if you use the scriptures as your shield, as your protection, you can handle and go throughout the world and face the world and deal with the world with confidence, your biblical confidence. But if you don't have establishment, if you're not established in the biblical confidence that you should establish yourself in, because I don't study, or I don't absorb counsel, or I haven't invested in myself in the book enough to believe this information, then I have no other choice but to put on a costume to function amongst worldly people. This is a defense mechanism.
To hide.
And that's why I said these are aspects of narcissism.
This narcissism. I want to bring out this aspect also. Let's go into definition of hypocrite. The first definition. Because how this person that creates this costume is rolling and operating like a hypocrite as well.
Yeah.
Let's get the first definition, 1828, of hypocrite. Somebody give it to me. Somebody, come on, y'all.
Somebody in this house.
Everybody's writing scripts here. Everybody's so encompassed in the writing. Read that.
Your pen's going.
Yeah. What you got?
Hypocrite. Oh, yeah.
No, you got it.
Hypocrite. One who feigns to be what?
One who feigns.
I mean that one who fakes. Read on.
One who feigns to be what he is not.
And we can go over 1,000 scriptures about hypocrisy, but creating that costume and portraying to be something you're not is the root of hypocrisy. One who feigns to be what he is not. The Most High wants us to sit back here and operate in truth, in honesty, not in fakeness, not going sideways. You can't be healed. What's this? Confess your faults one to another so that ye may be what? Healed. So you can be healed. So if I'm sitting back here feigning truth, feigning the reality of who I am, I'm lying not only to the Most High, but to my people too. He can't accept that. And that is the beginning of the narcissist. I gotta lie to present the image of strength. I gotta show everybody that I got everything together, but I'm really lying my ass off. And I'm winging it every damn day. I'm acting like I'm strong. I'm acting like I'm about change, but I'm really not about it. And the fight to keep up that act.
And a good example of this is preachers.
Yeah.
Because amongst our people, these narcissistic preachers will put on roles, they'll put on characters, and they'll play roles for what purpose? To win your trust. To gain resources. This is what the pastors do, especially in the religious community. Mm-hmm. Right? And in the streets, people do the same thing, man.
No doubt.
They play, hey, what's going on, man? We boys.
We really care about you.
We really boys. Don't bring your rib around them. Right? Well, we boys, but not like that. Right? So these spirits are feigning, they're projecting, they're wearing a costume. And if you're not sharp enough, you won't catch on to these things. You'll get affected.
Done? So, it says, but propping up their delusions of grandeur takes a lot of work. And that's where the dysfunctional attitudes and behaviors come in. So in order to sit back and keep up that act, to keep up that costume, isn't as easy as a person thinks.
Acting is tiring, bro.
Being fake is hard at. Sitting back here and keeping all the lies set up your lies and all your stories out.
Hey,
what was like last week?
What's up with you? Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
Brother.
You're forgetting your lines. You're forgetting your angles.
Yep.
After a while, like, damn, this is work.
I'm telling you, there were brothers in the camp years ago that literally told us that they had back surgery and never had back surgery. Wow. That was a grandiose lie.
That was great.
Wow. He said, I had back surgery. I can't go to work.
It's exquisite subtlety.
It was perfection. This guy was off for like 3 months because nobody knew how long a person is out after back surgery.
You got the check.
I didn't know.
You got checked out.
So he's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling better today. How you doing, brother? Yesterday was a bad day, and today was better. I was like, man, he's really going through it. He's fighting and stuff. And what's crazy, his rib was right there. Wow. Saying, he just had the surgery. Oh. I'm changing gauzes out.
Get out of here.
I'm like, oh man, he's bleeding plasma. He's hurting. Yeah. He's going through the battles and trials of Job.
Yeah.
I'm dead ass serious. Come to find out, like a month and a half later, like, bro,
no scars.
No scars. He's moving around fine. Like, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Brother, listen, I almost forgot how he got outed. I forgot. I think his rib told him. Because she was pissed off at him.
You can't. You check your rib.
His rib was pissed off. He said he never had surgery. I'm like, whoa! Like a soap opera. Like, what the hell is going on? But the level of effort that it took
an acting
to
skill.
Act,
a woman to do it.
To play the game, to play the game. The level of effort and concentration.
Oh man.
And to keep it up,
he should have got an Oscar.
I was an Oscar. He had a Grammy. That's something.
In Israel.
But that was pure. That was narcissism in its purest form.
Good show.
Listen. That's perfect acting. Now in Israel, that we do it every day. It's just lower levels of acting.
Yeah.
It's just lower actors of playing the game. I want you to see this version of me. So I'm going to always give you this version of me. That is an aspect of a narcissist. If they have to sit back here and every day think about being a certain way around you, why do you sit back here and have to walk around and act a certain way and think about acting a certain way? Don't raise hands, but have you seen a person who's done that before? People have done that? Every day they're acting a certain way. They're putting work to present this image of themselves to you. That's a real thing.
They're putting work into the mask.
What's that?
I think that personal experience, people are embarrassed to themselves, embarrassed of people seeing the flaws and the weaknesses with it, so they put on this facade because they don't want people to. But time with that.
You can only fake it for so long.
Time always reveals it. It always. You're around them long enough, you'll see it.
And it's an aspect.
It's easier. To me, it's easier just to be who you are, get the help that you need.
Exactly.
Than to put on. It is a lot of work, like you just said. It's a lot of work putting on that act.
And it is the act
over a period of time.
The act is narcissism.
God.
The idea that I want you to see this fake side of me, and not the real side of me, is where the narcissism starts. What was you gonna say? I didn't. What was you gonna say, Amiathi? Oh, you was pulling something.
Oh, just in the etymology, just that first part.
Where
it says,
a false pretender to virtue.
Yeah.
God, the other definition of hypocrite is a play actor. That's what a hypocrite is. He's a damn play actor. He's a goddamn Grammy Award winning actor. He's Denzel, I can glory at. I believe that Denzel was a slave in Glory. I believed that. When he sat back here and took his shit off and like, just whip me in it. I believed it. I was like, damn, this dude's gonna take it like a G. And he had one tear go down after like 15 hits. I was like, it's over. It's over. He won.
Right.
He was giving that look like this. You ain't gonna break me, boss. You ain't gonna break me. And you're like, this hurting though. And he gave that look at one tear kid. I was like, how'd he do that?
Yeah.
Anyway. What am I saying?
He gets paid millions of dollars to do that.
It was on cue.
We get paid
perfect.
We get paid nothing to act.
Just to be fake.
I'll give it to him. He gets paid $1 million for that. Yeah, give him the money. Give him his money.
He gets award, prestige.
Give him his money, huh?
Yes, give him his money. Israel gets paid nothing to front, but Israel fronts all the time.
And it's an aspect.
Yes.
Because we're dealing with.
It's not the all of narcissism. It's an aspect of narcissism.
Yeah.
The work it puts into presenting an image of strength, light, answers, power.
But I'm not going to go to scriptures. I'm not going to go to counsel. I'm not going to do the right thing to do it. I'm
not gonna let you in so you can actually
to get the real strength.
I'll burn years just trying to play the role.
It's easier than the actual real work.
I guess it is, because like you said, it's hard to do it, but I guess it's easier to fake it than actually work on yourself. Because there's a lot of people that come through these doors with that mindset. Okay? So, that's the first part that we go into. That's the first one. So, y'all should have on your notes, is this me? Check yes or no. Everybody, it ain't me. It ain't me. Okay, brother. It ain't you. It ain't you.
I'll keep down.
No problem.
It's never me.
I didn't do nothing. Let's go to the next aspect. See, A and B kind of go lined up with each other. And it says narcissists are in love with their inflated self-image.
That's a very important part because it shows that it's like really loving the flesh, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in love with the fleshly design that I've contrived.
Yep.
I love my fleshly design. I love projecting this guy because it makes my life easier. You can see this guy. You gotta see me.
Here it goes. It says, lives in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur.
There we go. We're not making this up, bro.
Is that?
Man, that's literally just like the. It's very marketable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the rapper.
Yeah.
Like Plies or something like that.
He knows.
Oh my God.
Whoa, woke up for real.
Yeah.
That's him.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He's one of those characters.
Yes.
He projects that stereotype.
I believe him for a couple albums.
I believe him on one song. One sleep real. Then he woke up realer.
Hey, Kevin Gates started to call his mind out.
Come on, these guys are lame, man.
Oh, well, his hands.
He put his hands over the battery and prayed.
What? No, but he said, but it's true.
Let's keep it Let's keep this thing locked in.
Off topic. So we're dealing with the narcissist, right?
No, your angle is right, but keep going. I don't want to go cars on.
We're dealing with the narcissist, all right? Aspects of narcissism, right?
Mm-hmm.
That line up and equal the complete narcissist, right? Now you have narcissistic tendencies.
Okay.
You have narcissistic tendencies, and you're a narcissist.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So we're going over the tendencies. And we said, if you have 5 of these tendencies, then we're talking about you're a
You're a
narcissist.
duck. You have a bill.
You're quacking. You're waddling.
Feet.
Quacking.
You float on ponds.
Yeah.
I like ponds.
Yeah.
You're a duck.
God. So let's read this part. It says, lives in a fantasy world. But what you said is correct. They'd have to break down their entire life if they try to get help. And most people don't want to go through that work. You're right.
But you'll feel better
On the long run.
in the long run.
So what was B?
Huh?
B? What was B?
Well, B, I'm still going to read it. It says, well, first part says, narcissists are in love with their inflated self-image.
The fantasy of self.
Let me finish it. Because they're able to avoid deep feelings of insecurity. It goes into the why. The images and the facade,
The actions.
is created so that you don't have to see the real person.
Yeah.
Because the real person is loathsome.
Yeah.
But the reality is, all of our weaknesses is loathsome. We're better off just dealing and bringing that out. So those weaknesses can become strengths. But people keep that era of strength and invincibility so that they don't have to look bad.
I'm not sick.
Yeah.
I'm not sick.
But you're sick as hell.
I'm not sick.
Good.
I just ate some spicy food.
Yep.
You're trying to cover everything up, the real issue, because I don't want nobody to even know.
Done. So listen, here we go. Listen, we ain't gonna make it today. I already tell you that right now. We got too much to go into. But we're gonna take our time and read this stuff. Lives in a fantasy world that supports their delusions of grandeur. You see?
That's the second one?
Yeah, this is the second. It's part of the second one. Yes. Since reality doesn't support their grandiose views of themselves, narcissists live in a fantasy world propped up by distortion, self-deception, and magical thinking.
There you go. Self-deception and magical thinking.
Got it.
That's very important. I met this one guy years ago at the cart. And this guy kept telling me, he said, man, I have 10 AVs. I have 10 four-wheelers. I got like 90 acres of property.
It's like a rapper, right?
Like a white dude, right? White dude. And he was like a country white dude, so I'm like, it might be true.
A younger country.
Younger country white dude.
I know exactly. I know.
No. You don't know this guy. This guy's awesome. That's before you came around. This guy.
Before your generation.
Listen.
Your guy's probably a 2.0 version of this guy.
He laid the image on me. Week after week, he kept coming by. He kept saying,
"Why do you gotta keep coming to the mall?" I can tell you.
I'm at the car.
I make special ed out here.
I'm listening to a story. I'm like, man, you got a great life. I'm like confirming his story, right? And then like,
you're trying to buy some more. You gotta get some more.
Every week, his story gets greater and greater and greater. I just saved it. Don't have a tree, cabin trees, all stuff. Then he told me, yeah, man, I just got back from Iraq. I said, I'm in the military. I said, that's cool. Then. A week later, I just got back from Iraq. I flew to Iraq and I came back.
Oh.
In the same day in my F-15 fighter jet. I said,
now this guy.
But I believed him.
He owns an F-15 then.
Look, I believed him the first couple weeks.
Horrible, bro.
So when he brought out the fact that he had an F-15 as a fighter pilot, he kind of got me a little bit because I'm gonna give you one of my vehicles. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna come up, right? Because he got a lot. I got 10 of them. I could take one, right? And then he told me, yeah, man,
that River City, right?
No, this is England. He said, yeah, man, I went to Iraq. I blew up some terrorists and I came back.
Oh,
and he came back.
Terrorists.
He came back, but he flew his F-15 fighter jet. That's why I realized I had believed him. I was stupid. I'm stupid. This dude. Listen, he kept adding the story layers to it, and it was like he was the man for a long period of time. He come to the mall, what's up, man? But he wanted me to believe his fantasy.
He probably came off the bus and went to the mall. Huh?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. But the story, where he projected himself, was believable for a period of time.
And like we're explaining different levels of this, of these symptoms of narcissism. That's an extreme case.
Yeah.
But a lot of us every day, every day you'll see brothers just sit back here and they only want you to see the good side of them. And they'll sit back here and fight their ass off so that a bad report doesn't come out to them. They'll sit back here and hide because they just don't want to be discovered with their flaws. They don't want their flaws to be discovered. So that is a form of narcissism in itself also. Because they just sit back here and they want to create this perception of strength. I've got the answers. I'm on point. I'm potent. There's no flaws here. Everything is good. That is another form of the issue that we're dealing with. Okay? So it says, they spin self-glorifying fantasies of unlimited success.
Yes.
Power.
Yeah.
Brilliance. Attractiveness. And then they're into their look too.
A lot of rappers like this. I'm going extreme national.
They spin what?
It says they spin self-glorifying fantasies.
Stories.
Of unlimited success. You know what that means? All they talk about is their wins and their victories. All they listen is everybody's T-Pain act.
Always the hero.
All I do is win no matter what. Now that's an extreme snare, but people that in this arena, people they never show their deficiencies.
Yeah, they never lose.
They never lose. They never let anybody in. They just show strength.
All strength.
And they exude that. But and they don't let anybody into the other aspects of their reality. It says they spin self-glorifying fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, attractiveness, and ideal love that make them feel special and in control.
There you have it. We're having these are the stories and the different projections and because they don't just project physically, they spin stories that give you these circular stories on a consistent basis. It's the same story, same narrative.
You know what else? You ever talk to somebody that always tells you about what they're gonna do next? The next baller ass team we're going to, we're going to this city to go teach. We're going to this state to go teach. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go over here to go teach. We're gonna go do all this stuff. We're gonna teach. I'm like, damn.
That's the bomb.
These guys are gonna be teaching their ass off.
Glorious.
Where else are you gonna
That's
go?
That's all glorious.
Where are you? You gonna go? Where to Florida? Cool. When? How? Where? Tell me when.
Yeah.
Then next week, we're gonna go to Vegas. Oh shit! Oh, I thought you gonna change your plans from Florida and go to Vegas. Oh damn! Tell me more about this Vegas excursion. Tell me more.
We still gonna do Florida. We
gonna do double. We gonna double up.
We gonna go to Vegas.
We gonna sit back to the 6 months in Florida. Then we gonna get some more men and go to Vegas.
Let me get some more men.
It's mo. I'm like, damn, these guys is on point.
Yeah.
Man, can I be down? Where am I lacking at? Maybe I'm tripping. Huh?
Then down. What spell say? Then down. Then we're going to Georgia.
Everybody in Georgia.
That's that character, right? That's the real thing, right? Those
Wait till we leave the country.
Oh my God! This is crazy. But that's that fantasy, right? That they're gonna keep pushing out to people because that's what they want you to see.
Wow, this is powerful, bro.
So say it, man.
Shamshawan just chimed in via satellite.
He's going through the ether, right?
It said philo definition.
He's going to philo.
It says self-conceit, as the proverb of the ancients has it, is the eradication of all improvement.
Oh my goodness.
For the man who is full of self-conceit is incapable of improvement.
Oh no. So what it's saying is the person that's constantly projecting, the person that's constantly trying to get you to see this version of them is incapable of working on themselves. Because all the energy they're putting forth is to so they can create this version of how they want you to see.
It's a misallocation of strength.
First of all, it's what a damn distemper is.
Yeah.
Remember we read about that distemper where it was a disappropriation of a mixture of parts?
Yeah.
Where your parts should be focused on self-improvement. I'm putting all my focus energy on creating the illusion that I'm growing.
Because I don't want you to see the real me. So if I don't want you to see the real me.
And I'm not going to change the real me.
I'm not going to put the work in to invest myself to be the person I want to be. So I'll put the same amount, if not more energy, and it's a projection of the person that I want you to see.
Oh my goodness.
Thus the inauthenticity behind the character.
Yep.
Because that energy is misallocated into the projection versus, okay, I'm going to go ahead and solve these issues and work on these problems. But in the midst of me solving these problems, you have to see my weakness.
Yep.
You have to see me fail. You have to see my insecurity. You have to see my consistency. You have to see my failure. You have to see the real me, the real self. But I will judge other people. Because narcissists also judge other people.
That's another part.
Another day.
Well, if we can get it, but
let's
just focus on this part.
But the part we're on right now is the projection. I'm gonna say it one more time because that was fire.
Yeah, that was fire.
Salakia, bro. Not my phone, bro.
No, you're good.
Right here. It says philo definition.
PHILO definition.
Yeah. Self-conceit, as the proverb of the ancients has it. So this has been around. So obviously this has been around for
This is a narcissist. That distemper has been around since the beginning of damn time.
The ancients have called this out.
Listen, capping ass Israelites. That's a present day term. Capping ass Israelites.
Yeah.
Fronting Israel, capping Israel.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. We keep going.
Wow. It says, has it. It says, is the eradication of all improvement. For the man who is full of self-conceit is incapable of improvement.
They're incapable of fixing what's inside himself, and that's why they project all of these grandiose image of growth and change and direction. You can talk it and push it, but you're not going to change, do the work to get it done.
Because I don't want to follow. Remember, we read earlier. It says,
I don't want to follow. I want to be humbled.
Yeah.
I don't want to be humbled. I don't want to be broken down so that everybody can see what I already see. That I have self-hate. And I ain't no good. So instead of getting everybody to see what I already see, I'll create this image of strength, create this image of being put together, that I have solutions that I don't really have.
Yeah, when I could have just humbled myself, got in line, followed, studied, and prayed, and did the day-to-day work to get where I need to really be, and in time I will be the person I need to be.
Yep.
It's a cheat. It's almost cheating on.
Yep.
I'm cheating the process.
But see, the thing is, all that fakeness, these fantasies, protect them from feelings of inner emptiness and shame.
Which is the reality.
That is the reality of the person. There's self-loathing. There's emptiness. There's a hate about who you are.
But it's there because I have not done the work to find the fulfillment.
Yep.
I have not seek Christ to find the fulfillment. Let's get this correct. There's only fulfillment through Christ.
Got it.
All the physical, the celebrities and our own personal, hopefully our own personal past life, pre-truth, and maybe in the truth, has shown us that we're not going to be fulfilled with the flesh.
Got it.
Capturing tangible items, capturing trinkets, going on certain personal pursuits, chasing addictions, they all lead to emptiness in the end. The only thing that's going to give you strength and clarity and fulfillment within is your service to Yahweh Shai. That's all we have as Israelites. That's our fulfillment. Mm-hmm. But the narcissist is at war with the Most High because he's wearing a costume. I'm wearing a covering. Remember,
and the Most High pulls off that cover.
It says, "Woe unto the rebellious children." Mm-hmm. So I'm fighting the Most High by putting on a
false covering.
A false covering. Most High is trying to heal you, but I can't heal you.
By uncovering you.
I can't. That's why the truth over time starts pulling off layers of the personality.
So the question is, are you going to willingly change, or you have to lose and keep going through these ups and downs before the real you comes out?
Because we're not smiting people for lacking. We're not smiting men and women for lacking. What the Most High is doing is, listen, if you're lacking, come into the waters. Get in the water. Mm-hmm. Get out the distemper, the distemper,
yep,
and get in the water. That's why Christ said, will thou be what?
Healed.
Will thou be made whole? Do you want to be made whole? Do you want to change? And some men say con.
A lot of men say no. Or they say nay.
And if you say nay, what's after the nay? You gotta put that shield on, bro.
Okay. So we're gonna keep going. It says these fantasies protect them from feelings of inner emptiness and shame. So facts and opinions that contradict them are ignored and rationalized away.
I gotta say this out.
Please.
When people are rash, this is the person that when you counsel them, you can never ever get to the point because they deflect the counsels.
Yep.
Then everything you say, they reverse it. What about you? Classic deflective tactics.
Yep.
Then they sit here and then if they can't win, they'll say you have a personal problem with me.
Yep. Or that goes into it later.
Because all these spirits are. I'm going to do everything in my power to not focus on the improvement.
Yep.
I
or I don't want to focus on my flaw.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm not going to sit back here and look at my flaw. I'm going to keep bluffing my ass. I'm going to keep doubling down on this image I got of myself. I'm going to keep doubling down.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. It ain't me. It ain't me. You must not understand. You don't get it.
You must be mistaken.
It's deeper than rap.
Yeah.
It's always something. It's always something to not see me.
Opinions that contradict them are ignored and rationalized. It can be red-handed.
Opinions are scriptures. Concepts that call you out dead to rights.
That's not me.
Exactly.
That's not me. That's Solomon. Solomon was doing that. Wow. It's not for you? No, it's not for me.
That's the other brother.
Yes, that's
the other brother.
See, because you know what? And this again they play. Because you didn't say what they did exactly word for word on 11.
Israel do that all the time.
At 11:38 p.m. on a cold day, on the Friday of November.
Yep.
When you were wearing a blue pair of shoes and blue jeans and a red hat with a Chicago Bulls jersey, and you had just ate a croissant from Starbucks. That's when you did this. Oh, you got me.
Yep.
If you can't get that accurate with these people,
nope.
You got 10 years to
It wasn't me. Yeah.
You got 10 years.
It's the truth. I couldn't explain it better myself. We're gonna keep going. Anything that threatens to burst the fantasy bubble is met with extreme defensiveness.
And there you go. This is beautiful.
And even rage.
There you go.
Because if I yell and I get angry, I get defensive, I'm deflecting you and I'm taking you off the scent.
The violent tendency.
It backs you off of
and
me.
the smoke bombs and the loudness and the theatrics are angles to escape the conversation.
Now you can't focus on me. Now we're dealing with the argument. You know how many times we've been in counsel and you're dealing with a person with the issue and you know you got him, and then the smoke bomb comes out and we're dealing with something else? We're dealing with the attitude. We're dealing with a symptom of the problem. It goes from the real core to the symptom. It happens all the time.
Why'd you say it like that? Why are we going into this conversation?
And this is why, as counselors, staying on topic, staying on form, and not letting people distract you from what the real issue is so important.
And not
it's
getting
everything.
And not letting the subject get you emotional, because you'll lose the whole angle.
Yep.
Because you got caught up into how you felt about it. It's about helping this person.
God, in my world, you had a hand up for
Yes,
something.
sir.
It's all good. I was trying to ask a question that you
Ask it.
It was what was the reality of this person when you said about self-hatred and emptiness?
Everybody does self-hatred, but we're saying why a person puts a costume on.
Yep.
We're giving the why. Why is there a costume?
And sometimes with people, maintaining the costume is better than feeling like you feel. Creating the costume and putting your energy into the costume is easier to focus on than dealing with the real person and going through the work of improvement. That's why that definition in philo was like that person that deals with self-conceit, that creates his image, will never sit back and work on what's inside of it. Because their mind is given to creating this persona, establishing the persona.
And can I say this a war?
Yeah.
And remember, we're talking about a person that has unnatural parts, mentally, unnatural structure. Everybody deals with some type of disliking of themselves.
Yeah.
But this is a unnatural reaction to disliking yourself. If you dislike yourself, the natural reaction is to go hit the gym up, ask for some counsels, read some self-help books, quote unquote, if you're in the world, right? Sit here and start making goals, daily goals, to be opposite and contrary to whatever issue you don't like about yourself, right? I will not get angry again. I will not blow up in public. I will not be this person. I will not embarrass myself, right? These are things people do because they have an issue with themselves, right? They're gonna look for ways to fix it. But the wearing of a costume is unnatural way of fixing the problem because it never solves the problem.
What you're saying is true, sis, or pretend to listen and accept, but really couldn't care less. That's in like part D and E.
She knows what's going on.
There's more characteristics to go.
She knows what's up.
Believe you me, we'll go.
She must know a narcissist.
She knows a narcissist, 2 or 3 or 4. We're gonna go into the third one. Okay.
This is the third.
This is 3. Yeah. Okay. Narcissist. I gotta like make sure all the things are in order, so I'm not like just.
C, right? C.
Well, it's C. It's not in this one. It's in this one.
So.
Yes, sir.
So, number 1 has 3 parts. So we're in C right now.
We're in C. So narcissists are in love. A is narcissists are in love with an idealized, grandiose image of themselves.
Right.
That costume. B is still kind of on line with A, where it says narcissists are in love with their inflated self-image because they're able to avoid deep feelings of insecurity. Okay, it's that lion energy and the whole effort it puts in. And Sean put the philo in there, definition there. Now the third part is that a narcissist is low in agreeableness.
This is a completely different aspect.
This is another aspect of it. The first part was the image, and then the second part was the reason behind the image.
Yeah.
The reason behind the costume. Now we're going to start getting into how this narcissist deals with other people.
Now we got a little bit of the aspect dealing with any kind of opinion or any kind of factual information. If they have to be, they contradict it. They contradict anything factual.
Yeah, sometimes want to pull something that I told him. I said, hey, we're going to go a different direction later on that.
Yeah.
So we're going to hold that what he brought and try to get to it later on in class if we have time. The third part of the narcissist is that they are low in agreeableness. It's right here.
Yeah.
They're low in agreeableness.
And what's agreeableness?
We're going to go into it.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. Low in agreeableness. Okay. Some people with NPD or narcissistic personality disorder are low in agreeableness. They can be condescending towards other people. They're sitting back, they talk down to you. They make people feel small. They make people feel less than important through their communication.
So now that I feel bad about me,
so
it's a must that I tear down.
First of all, I feel bad about me. I hate myself inside. I create this picture that I don't hate myself.
Mr. Perfect.
I don't hate myself on the outside. On the inside, I do. But I'm going to sit back and project that self-hatred on everybody around me. I'm going to talk down to them because that's how I feel about myself. But on the outside, I'm presenting like I'm in control and I'm strong. So it says, some people with narcissistic personality disorder are low in agreeableness. They can be condescending towards other people, and they may have a sense of entitlement, which might make them believe others are beneath them.
Now this is right here. Now this is good in sports. It's good to play this game.
Yeah, if you can get your MJ on and no, sir.
Hold on, man. Hold on a second. Come on, man. 1 second, Joe. I'm trying to make sure. Perfect.
We're back in.
I was like, what the heck just happened, man?
Back in business.
Okay.
That way, if you're using if you're in competition and your job, I'm gonna definitely get you. I'm gonna finish the start real quick. If you're in competition and your desire is to destroy other men's minds so that you can win and defeat them mentally, this works in the realm of competition.
How about this? Now, how about Jordan was a narcissist? Because he was that way on the field. He was that way towards his kids. He was that way towards the damn
I was trying to be cool.
bartender.
Yeah.
Towards damn what was that dude? Who was that rapper in Houston? Chameleon. He was like that towards Chameleon.
Yeah. He said about his son. He said, my son will never be great as me. I'm like, damn, your son can't even try to be like Mike.
Don't you want him to like do good in his life? Right?
He said, my son will. They asked about, what about your son? He plays basketball too. He said, hold on, my son will never be great. I'm like, damn, bro.
And he's just competitive, right?
He can't even try. Listen.
Yeah, that's too much.
He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He's a bad guy.
That narcissism. But it helped him in his sport.
He was a really bad guy.
It helped him in his sport.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's ugly in the eyes of the father, the heavenly father, right?
What was your question?
Yes, sir.
It was is that considered like a superior complex?
It's narcissism. That's That's what it's called.
No, I'm saying like, is that another way of saying?
No, it's narcissism.
It's number 3 on narcissism.
We're saying here.
You gotta get some boxes out.
We're zoned in.
You got some boxes and you just check. No.
Absolutely.
Yes. No. And I hope you don't get to 5. Like,
you're saying superiority complex as opposed to inferiority.
Like I'm superior to you.
No, I'm projecting that.
I'm tearing you down, and when I talk, if I listen, you know what it is? This person that's narcissistic looks down on people.
There you go.
That he doesn't think, or she doesn't think is on their level.
Everybody's know what's good enough.
Or this image that they've set up for themselves. If they don't think that you match up to what they perceived as their image of what they want to be, then they look down on you and they treat you like that.
That's
a narcissist.
The Pharisees are very good examples in the scriptures of this spirit.
Yep.
The Pharisees are very good examples. You're looking down on everyone. You know the laws. You have all the laws. You have all the information, and you're sharp and you're wise.
And you won't go and take your time to be with the sick.
And you're educated, but you hate the sick.
Yep.
You hate the weak. You hate the lame. You hate the common man.
It talks about that man that judge not lest ye be judged.
Yeah.
The judging isn't judging according to the scriptures.
Yeah.
That judging is looking down and seeing the least and the worst in your people. That's what that judging
and that's an aspect of narcissism that Christ is against. Father's against. That's why we're not just bringing this out to bring it out.
We're not just talking just to talk.
It's anti-biblical to operate like this amongst your people.
Kinda. There you go. Listen, we'll go into that verse in a second, but let's read it from the top again. Some people with narcissistic personality disorders are low in agreeableness. I mean, they can't sit back. You can't work with them. It's very difficult to work with. It's very difficult to agree with you because you're always looking down on someone. There's always skepticism. I'm always seeing the worst in what you do. There's always a competition. There's always a competition, and I got to always show you that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I gotta always sit back here and project like I'm superior to you. All goddamn day long.
It works in athletics, but don't work in real life.
Hey, listen, you don't get punched in the mouth in athletics too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so listen, you want to be around a sucker like that on the field. Those are the dudes who get fought at practice, get their ass kicked out.
Yeah.
That's the straight up truth. Hot outside, you got to deal with this bullshit. Sweating up, bodies on fire. F this dude,
Yeah.
I'm being out here in football practice, your body's on fire. He's talking, she's out of pocket. Oh, I got to hear him all damn day long out of pocket.
Yeah.
Them are the dudes that get fought in summer practice leading up to the league.
That's what happened with Jordan was Bill Cartwright got kicked off the Bulls.
The only reason they don't punch him because they'll get fired.
No, but this is
the point.
Bill Cartwright had balls
Yeah.
He said, listen.
He was an old man. He was 37.
He said, if you do that one more time, I'm gonna get a crowbar and destroy your knees and never play basketball again. And this is word for word. He said that.
My dude, Bill Cartwright.
And guess what? And Jordan said no problem. So he was all nice to him. And then next year, get him out of there. Can't get him out of here. He got him out of there because he didn't want to roll like that.
But you know what? That's the point. But everybody else walked in fear because if you piss him off, your career's over.
Punching Bill, Steve Kerr in the face,
bro.
He didn't do nothing to nobody.
But Steve, listen, what was Steve Kerr gonna do? Talk crap? Fight back?
No.
His career was over if it happened. His career is over.
You better take it to the chin.
That's my point. You losing millions. Trying to keep it real. That's what keeping it real is wrong.
Baby, what happened?
Now, if you're in high school, it's cool, but this is millions on the line. No problem, dude. It's all business, baby.
Part of the job after that.
Exactly.
But we're showing that these people operate like Pharisees.
Yep.
They operate like Pharisees, look down on the common man.
Yes, looking at on your people.
And they despise with disgust. They have a view of disgust.
Because they don't match the image of what they've created themselves to be.
Because they believe their character sometimes.
They are. That's why. This is why they can't. This is why that follow definition fits so much. You can't be taught nothing because you bought into this idea of who you are. You believe that person.
I don't need your help, bro.
You've given yourself to that mindset.
That's for you.
So now I'm looking down on anybody that doesn't match how I look at myself.
My projection.
Kinda. Let's go. I got it. It's we're gonna pull this verse after. But listen, I'm just gonna read it again. Some people with narcissistic personality disorder are low in agreeableness. It says in parentheses, one of the big 5 personality traits of this NPD person. They can be condescending towards other people and they may have a sense of entitlement, which might make them believe others are beneath them. They also expect others around them to look at them and admire them.
I expect you.
For their perceived greatness.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Oh my God. Anchorman stuff? How
That's narcissistic. That's narcissistic.
This guy's called an anchorman. That's my thing. That's hilarious.
was a narcissist.
Yeah, it's the truth. He was narcissistic though in that movie. He was pure narcissist. Just don't touch the hair in the face. Everything else is you can do. It's not the hair in the face. And it says, and they can be prone to thinking that others must envy them for this greatness. And so a lot of times, even when you're dealing with people, when you're checking them about their conduct, that's one of their deflection modes. Yeah. Or you're just talking to me because you really you're a hater.
You're just jealous.
You're just jealous of me. That's why he keeps coming at me. That's our brothers think.
Great narrative. Not true.
That's the narrative that you keep telling yourself to justify that image of who you think you are. It's easier to say they're hating and they're jealous than to say, man, maybe they got a point. Maybe there's some negative in me that I got to work on.
Maybe I'm disturbing the peace.
Maybe I am disturbing the peace. BTP. Maybe I am doing that. And it says, in cases like that, they talk down to people and question the way they achieve success or try to make their successes look common.
There you go. The topic.
Because if I sit back here and tear you down and tear your achievement down, I'm really propping myself up too. If I say what you did is whatever, I did it earlier than you. I did it faster than you.
Oh man, that's all. That's it.
That's it. Oh yeah, that's cool. You did it. It's cool.
I did
it better. I did it faster.
I bought a T-shirt.
It's everything is about trying to like one up you.
Yeah.
And create the image that my idea of who I am is more superior than you. But it's the condescending tearing down of the people around you.
I'm more important than you.
I'm
more important than you.
It's the tearing.
I want you to know that. No, I'm disagreeing.
You're welcome. Exactly. Yeah. But it's the tearing down. Now, this narcissism starts affecting people around you now. Yeah. Now, all of a sudden, I have to make you feel worse about you and your achievements and the good things you do for the Most High, so I can feel better about myself.
It threatens me.
The thing is, it's a threat, but the only way I neutralize the threat is if I attack it.
Yeah.
If I can see something that you've done weaker than what I've done. Now, all of a sudden, there's a superiority there. Now I feel better about my position around you. This is what narcissistic people do all the time. And then it says, arrogant and haughty behaviors. Those with NPD have snobbish, disdainful. They are snobbish, disdainful, and condescending. They tend to talk down to people who they believe are inferior to them.
Keywords believe.
They believe they're inferior. Exactly.
But according to my projection, I believe you're beneath me.
And I'm gonna make you feel that I'm superior to you.
You don't match the false fantasy that I've created, the script that I wrote for myself.
Yes.
You don't match the guy that I act to be.
Yes.
So you're not on the.
So I have to make sure you recognize that you don't fit the bill.
I want you to know that you're not
as good as me.
You're not
and let me count the ways.
Yeah.
Let me count the ways and show you how you just didn't make it. You didn't make the cut. What's that?
I've heard somebody say it just like that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, wow.
And this is.
And you're just jealous. You're just jealous.
And if you just if you challenge my thinking, you're jealous.
You're jealous, and that's the problem. That's why I can't be around people like you.
Yeah. Because you're not on my level. You don't understand. You just don't understand.
Yeah.
That is where that narcissistic person. You're next, iBot.
You know, behind projection, notice projection is in a lot of it. There's nothing in there about attraction, because in a lot of situations, the experience I know about people, I swear to God, I know this, he's like a brother-in-law to me. And he is the
Is he a brother-in-law or is he like a brother-in-law?
No, he's not, because he's dating my sister.
Okay.
He is almost the most conceited person, big fat head I've ever seen in my life. But long story short, behind projection, ain't there some attraction? People trying to attract, such as well, the things people do at the end of the order, or the final thing that they're looking for is attraction.
There is an aspect of that.
Attention, attraction.
It's called narcissistic supply. They're looking for supply. It's like no different than the flesh of supply of the flesh. I need somebody to believe this role.
But it goes back into this. It goes back into if I tear you down. See, I might have to jump into another point.
Look how I look after I tear you down.
No jump.
You're getting me to go into something else. It's almost like a narcissist needs their ego to be inflated.
There you go.
So if I tear you down enough,
yeah,
the expectation is that you're gonna feed my ego.
Yeah.
If I tear you down and be like, if I break you down, and then you start coming to me to feed my ego, and if you take that position of a servant, then all of a sudden, you make me feel important. Now I'm validated based on how much you have pursued me, and how you come to me for acceptance. If you come to me for acceptance and acknowledgement and clarity, now you give me more meaning.
There you go.
Now you're feeding the ego. But I have to tear you down to get the response I need for you to come back to me and pursue me. Because I think the narcissist needs to be fed. That needs the ego to be fed. Needs the lie to be believed.
All lies.
The way to break the narcissist, you starve that nigga out. You starve him out. That's how you break it. You don't feed the ego. You give it nothing. Then what has it got? But that's later. So I kind of brought a little bit out. But listen, Shamshawai had a verse. We're going to pull it. Luke 18. Luke 18, verse 9 through 14. Let me see. Yeah, let's read it. Luke 18, verse 9 through 14.
Luke chapter 18, verse 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others.
He's talking to these Pharisees and these people who trusted in it. What about themselves? Their image. Their inflated self-image of who they are.
Their long philandries.
Yeah. But they trust in the image they've created for themselves.
Wow.
So as they're creating this image of themselves, they're also despising other people.
They have to.
And having a disdain for other people. The more you disdain, the more you create this serf king energy.
Where are your fringes?
Now all of a sudden you got people sitting back here pursuing them to feed their narcissistic supply.
Instead of just teaching, you need to wear fringes. You need to wear some fringes. Where are your fringes?
Yep.
I thought you were a teacher. Why don't you teach me where the fringes are in the scriptures? Now I'm Israelite. Now wear them. No, where are your fringes? I don't know. I was a Jew yet.
And it's what it says, feed the ego and respect you even less because you accept their mistreatment.
Yeah.
Because that's if you accept their rude behavior, you're feeding their ego.
You're feeding them.
You're strengthening the narcissist.
That demon. It's really a demon.
It's a demon, but it's that distemper.
Yeah.
It is distemper. It is a mental sickness.
Yeah.
And this is why we're going into it.
And what we're doing is we have a whole bunch of aspects.
We got 3 pages of this, man.
3 pieces of this.
Wait, I think it's 4 pages. 3. But anyway, so we got time. So what you gonna say?
So we're asking.
We're not gonna finish this in one day, bro. It's just not happening.
It's not gonna happen. And if it don't happen, it don't happen. But this is the thing. We're saying you may have 1 or 2, maybe even 3 aspects of this character. But 5 is the magic number.
Yeah.
And if you got 4 in Israel, you better do some work. I'm
gonna say this: if you have 3, you gotta work on some shit. Cause this is bad. If you got 3, there's some homework to do, y'all. There's some counsel to do.
Yeah.
But let's continue in Luke.
Verse 10.
My thing is, there's a lot more people that have this than you think. That's my point.
Yeah, people aren't in Israel. They're not eating pigs.
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
People just. There's nothing against the law and brothers that teach. Well, listen, this should be talked about more. There's a lot of Israelites that once they get this knowledge, you can't tell them shit. Once they get a certain amount of breakdowns, They can't be told nothing. I've seen a lot of guys like that.
That's true.
Knowledge puffeth up. And all of a sudden you get this information and you create this image of the priest. I'm getting reports of my brothers being told, you can't call me by my Hebrew name. You have to call me Kahan, the priest.
Get out of here.
You got to call me priest. Brothers in Israel are acting like that. You got to call me priest.
Father, Abba.
Don't call me by my Hebrew name. Call me priest. Like, what the hell is going on here in the streets? Now you've got the image of the Kohan. I am the Kohan. I'm the priest. That's my image. So now this is the image I've created, and I am untouchable because I'm the Kohan. And speak to me accordingly. There's a lot of dudes in Israel that play kingdom.
It's a game.
They play kingdom.
Because I want people to be beneath me to serve me.
And that's the point. They have to look at me as the priest. That's why we don't call ourselves priests nothing. I'm brother of war. I'm not getting caught in that priest talk. Priest, nah, I'm a war. I'm not going to be caught. I'm not going to be above being called a war. Brother of war. I'm a teacher of war. I'm not going past that. That gets him in his head. Who the priest? That automatically just elevates.
I'm on a level.
Oh, the priest. What's my son?
Yeah.
My daughter. How can I help you, daughter?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's where it takes you.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
That's real.
It creates this image and this ego that you need stroked. And this is what's happening with these Pharisees.
It hurts the people.
Con. So read verse 9 again. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that's what pastors do too, like in church, like call me father. You know, like
in Catholic church, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going.
Luke chapter 18, verse 9.
Doctor, Reverend, to you.
Reverend Doctor.
And you can pay for the title doctor. Not in school like that.
They do that in, with PhDs too.
Yeah, you can buy the title doctor. You're not a doctor, but you bought the title. You can pay for it, and now you're Reverend Doctor.
Is Leon Dion wrong for saying "call me coach"? Walking off a couple of sets.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say this. My son played against his son, and he was big time with a lot of people on the field, man. He was big time with a lot of people on the field.
Oh yeah.
He got that ego, bro. He got it. I'm telling you. He's like, listen, I'm in coach mode. I don't talk in coach mode. Oh, well, let the man go then. He's in coach mode. He cannot be talked to. He's on a level because he's coaching today. Out of here, bro. I'm serious. He is like that. He got a little meat thing going on too. But anyway.
Luke chapter 18, verse 9 from the top.
Read that out.
And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others.
Wow. And we talked about the people that trust in their righteousness. They get detached from being a real person.
I'm Kahan.
And it's that image that they're into. They're into the image of being righteous versus living righteous. Read on.
Verse 10. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican.
One was a Pharisee, one was a sinner. Read on.
The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. The Most High, I thank you.
I thank you, Father.
Listen to this conversation.
That you gave me this wisdom.
This is crazy.
And I have the understanding.
Read on. This is crazy, bro.
That I am not as other men are.
This is that narcissistic mindset.
What it says, arrogant and haughty behaviors. Those with NPD may be snobbish, disdainful, condescending.
But condescending in Israel's terms is, all I do is see your negative and I look down on you because you're weak. I look down on you because you have flaws. I look down on you because you stumble. And because you stumble in things, especially for guys that you stumble in things that I don't stumble in. So you're a weak ass. You ain't shit. Because you stumble in arenas that I don't stumble in. So you're lesser than. That's narcissism. Where I sit back here and look at you like you're less of a man because you're just not strong in things I'm strong in. Let's continue.
They tend to talk down to people who they believe are inferior to them. Read the statement again.
It says, the Pharisee stood up and prayed thus himself, Most High, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican.
Even the guy that's in, listen, this guy's in the temple praying to the Most High, and you got to throw jabs at the guy in the truth. But that's like what brothers do in the truth. We're all in this building trying to do what?
Improve.
Trying to change. Then why am I going to be disgusted at anybody here trying to change? Why should I have a hateful bone in my body towards anybody that shows up every day to come to work to try to fight their battles? For that reason was why you don't hate your brother. Listen, for the brothers here fighting, y'all get my utmost respect. Because you're still here trying. And the day you bounce, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to do this. Good luck to you. But as long as you're here, you'll get the best I got. And that starts with my outlook. I'm going to look at you with the most purest light possible because you're trying. This Pharisee is sitting back here seeing a person trying, but knowing he has flaws, and he's tearing them down because he's got flaws.
As they're stumbling.
As they're trying to approach the Most High.
Kicking somebody while they're down.
Or because they're just flawed. Because they haven't figured out certain things you figured out.
Or they didn't get to wear the costume as good as you wear the costume.
Because they're real. So keep going. Read that part from not the whole thing, but give me verse 11. This is their whole verse 11.
Verse 11 from the top. The Pharisee stood up and prayed thus with himself. Most High, I thank thee that I am not as other men are.
I am above other men. But I say I'm not as other men, it's saying I'm above other men.
You know, the crazy thing is this. Christ always neutralizes everybody with the talent concept. Listen, okay, the Bible says Most High gave certain men 5 talents. Mm-hmm. Other men 3. Yep. Other men 2, other men 1. Right? Yep. So what does that mean? If I got 5 talents, I'm on the hook for 10. I don't got time to be talking shit about nobody. I got to double up 5 damn talents. Yeah. So you know what? The Most High balances out everybody in their battles. For the person who has struggles and has things in their life that they had to battle through, you know what? They might just need to double up 1 talent. They might have 1 talent and their whole life work is to get 1. So you can talk shit all you want. He got to fix 1 thing in himself.
I'm so much better than
you gotta sync up, bro.
I'm so much better than this.
You gotta go 5 and make 5 more. Yes. You were on the hook for a long damn time. You know what that should do? All of a sudden, I can't start looking at people all messed up. That should keep me focused on my battle.
I don't got time.
I don't got time to be looking down on people.
Just to despise you.
All this person got to do is get off the drugs. There's certain people that their whole life battle is drug use. So their whole thing is, if I can get off the drugs, that's it for me. I'm good. For everybody else who might have other things, shit, okay, you don't got the drug demon. Well, you better sit back here and work on your studying, your leadership, your selflessness. You got a handful of things to fix before you make it to the kingdom. So this Pharisee is off. Just because he might have book smarts, don't mean he's fixed everything else in himself.
In his spirit.
Because he ain't fixed his disdain towards his brother.
His own people.
That's my point. So read that part again, verse 11.
It says, Most High, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this public.
That's whack, bro. Read on.
I fast twice in the week.
Oh, you're counting your works.
Yeah, I'm fasting, I'm denying this, and I'm denying this.
You know what I don't do?
I don't sit back here and deal with the publicans.
I can tell you why I'm better than you. This, and this.
Yes.
Let me count the ways.
You know what it's easy to do? It's easy to count score down. It's not easy to count score up. Why don't you sit back here and realign yourself with people that do things better than you? Do that. Versus looking down on the person who's struggling every day. Focus on the people who do things better than you and get to work. But read on.
I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. Mm-hmm. And the publican standing afar off will not lift up as much as his eyes unto heaven.
Because the point is this, the person that was a Pharisee he couldn't sit back and look at himself and see any flaw. All he saw was strength. All he saw was I was on point. He's automatically destined to not be accepted because he doesn't even have the humility to see any negative in him. How can you get improved?
And that perspective is filthy in the eyes of the Most High. He couldn't see that though.
He was a narcissist.
Because he fasts twice a week.
And I pay tithes. Because you had the bread, my dude. You got the money, it's easy to tithe. It's hard to tithe when you ain't got shit. You gotta say tithes or breakfast for my kids. Then all of a sudden the tithe question becomes a problem. Tithe or my lights are going to be cut off. That's the point. But keep going.
It says, but smote his breast, saying, Most High, be merciful unto me.
He's living in reality.
Yep.
This guy's living in reality.
God.
He smote his breast. Read on.
Verse 14. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other.
Hey, listen, the person who was honest and was able to see the flaws in himself was more justified than the person that through his entire prayer still looked down on anybody else around him. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the ability to sit back here and work on and look at yourself in the clear, pure lens, you're not going to please the Most High. So the narcissist that can't see himself but can easily dissect what other people don't do, it still goes into that definition of Philo. It's the person who's into himself that can't see himself, but he can see all the flaws in somebody else.
Self-conceit.
The scripture says, take the beam out of your eye before you sit back here and try to pull somebody else's mote, before you try to expose somebody's flaw. You have a lot more things in you that you got to work on.
Before you critique other men.
This 2 Corinthians 10:6, having a readiness to revenge all disobedience when what? When their disobedience is fulfilled. You got to fix what's in you. You have to be at least willing to engage to see the filth in you before you're even in a position to teach, counsel, direct, fix, help. I'm telling you, you have a lot of Israelites that operate like Pharisees, but a lot of Pharisees roll like narcissists. We can sit back here and talk about the Pharisee issue all the time. Israel rolls like Pharisee. They play kingdom. They roll like they can't be touched and talked to. They talk down to people. That's narcissism in them, huh? That's narcissism. You'll see guys walking around here, whether they're just sitting back here looking at you, measuring you up and down to see if you fit their perception of what being in the spirit is.
That's their distemper.
That's their distemper. But it's all masked behind a bunch of fringes.
And fake strength.
Just because the Most High sit back here and stop hitting everybody with the damn plague, don't mean that the plague ain't inside their spirit still. That distemper is still in a lot of Israel. Because they can't see them. Because they have this inflated sense of ego.
And you can start telling.
But I was going to say one thing. And this is why Christ's life was so important. Because a lot of men that take the law. And because they know the law. And they'll create this image of perfection because they know the law. And Christ always pokes holes in that law. Because like you can sit back here and do more outside just following the law. And that's what breaks the pride. And that's what keeps people humble. People can hide behind the fact that they follow the law. Or follow the law. And they'll still be selfish egomaniacs. But because they got the law, they got the right to look down on people.
They'll still destroy their people.
And they're still destroying their people. This is why the walk that Christ walked should keep everybody humble and everybody in check. Because I've seen a lot of Israelites, because they got the law, you can't tell them nothing. And they'll sit back here and tear your people down left and right. Because the law and their knowledge of the law is a justification to hate their people and to look down on their people and to judge their people in a false way.
And you can see by the condition of the people around them, the state of the spiritual disposition of the people around them closest, you can tell that they're off. Because if you're on point, people around you are vibrating with energy and spirit and they're getting fed. It's going to be looking sick and tired around them. That's because their narcissists are draining. It's a draining spirit. It's like a vampire. It's always sucking the life force out of people. They have to worship you to save your ego. They have to put their spirit, not to fix themselves, to save a grown person and feed a grown person's ego. So they're drained.
Listen, we're gonna go to another scripture. Chapter 1, you're caliente right now, bro. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 29 and 30. Did we finish first the other one?
No, not all.
Continuing on where we're at. But somebody else get that ready.
Luke 18 and 14. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
Exactly. But you can't humble yourself if you're operating with this narcissistic mindset. If you create this wall of strength and impenetrability, you can't sit back here and even be willing to humble yourself. Yes, sir?
So does that last scripture mean when it says that he will be humble, does that mean like the Lord will humble him?
Yeah, well, this next chapter in Ecclesiastes explains, it says he that humbles himself. That's the person that was the publican, he was humble. And if you come humble to the Most High, you'll get blessed. I don't want to go there, well, that's the whole chapter about the Pharisees, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Another aspect leading on to Luke.
But where it says, for everyone that exalts himself shall be abased, the person who promotes himself to be at a level, Most High is going to knock you down some pegs. And the person who sits back here is humble, is willing to learn and be molded, Most High lifts that person up because you're humble. The person that's willing to learn and follow, they grow. The person that's incapable of listening and following, who's incapable of letting people see them, they're going to keep breaking down and losing. Okay? I want to go to Ecclesiastes 1, verse 29 and 30. Now, we talked about that hypocrite earlier in class, how that hypocrite was that play actor.
Yeah.
And that hypocrite is that one who feigns to be what he's not. He fakes to be what he really isn't. He creates this image of strength, but he's really not about strength. He looks down on people based on the image he's created for himself, but he's really not that person he created for himself. Yeah. Now read that, Ecclesiastes 1 and 29.
Ecclesiastes.
Yep.
Ecclesiastes 1, verse 29. Be not an hypocrite in the sight of men.
Don't sit back and portray yourself to be this person, but be faking it. Don't fake this image of strength. Don't be that narcissist. Don't be that person who creates that image of strength to hide your deficiencies and insecurity. Then don't sit back here and take that image of yourself and use it to destroy other men's confidence, to look down on other people. Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men. Read on.
And take good heed what thou speakest.
Take heed of how your words affect people. But as we go later on in the class, it shows you a narcissist has no empathy. They lack the ability to put themselves in another person's shoes. But this is what a person who's a hypocrite has to be conscious of. He's talking about all these verses is dealing with the spirit of a damn narcissist. He says you got to take heed to how you say things. But that's a narcissist problem. Because the narcissist can't get past themselves. And how people make them feel. And how people make them look. A narcissist has a hard time considering what other people are going through.
Because they're essential.
Because they're selfish. Their whole mindset is self-based.
Yeah. So are you narcissistic only with certain people?
I'm going to say, you know what? A person is narcissistic on people that they don't respect. A person is narcissistic on people that they look down on. That they think they're inferior to them. Now the people that they think are superior to them, because they think they only deserve to be around the higher echelon of people. And this is where that Pharisee situation came in. The Pharisees only wanted to hang out with Pharisees. Because they felt that the Pharisees were the only ones that would understand the level that they were on. But that's a quintessential narcissist. I can only be around the people that understand me because the level I'm on, I'm so deep, they ain't ready for that. So I ain't going to deal with them. I got to deal with these dudes that's high-powered like me. That's narcissism. But then on the flip side, even with them, there's envy there. You look down on the people that you think are inferior, and you envy the ones above you. And you feel threatened by the ones who are superior to what you do. Those are other phases we got to go on to later.
So like a sort of man-pleasing type thing.
Well, it's whatever feeling and emotion that a person brings out to you. If I am into me and I think I'm above you, I'm going to look down on you. If a person is superior to me in how they do things, I'm going to feel threatened. The whole mindset is sensual based.
They're reactionary, and they're looking at their life through the lens of their distortion.
And this is why the scripture says that the wisdom of the world is sensual. The wisdom of a narcissist is sensual.
Yeah.
My whole thinking is based on how people make me feel.
The sense I get from people.
The sense I get. Listen, if I feel that you're doing things better than me, then I feel threatened. So I have to react to me feeling threatened. If I look down on you and I can do something better than you, then I feel disgust. So I want to make you feel what I feel.
They're always shifting per person.
Based on the person that they're around.
That's why it's that.
That's why one person gets treated one way, another person gets treated like shit. One person gets treated with ultimate respect, another person gets looked down upon with disdain. That's narcissism. That's distemper in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. Now we're dealing with these Pharisees because these Pharisees were the high echelon that lacked the willingness and the ability to go down and deal with the sick. And that's why they hated Christ. They envy Christ like narcissists envy anybody that outshines them.
And skill.
Anybody that outworks them, that outproduces them. Then the envy kicks in.
Then the plotting comes in.
Then the plotting, now I got to get this guy out of the way so I can still shine, so I can be relevant again. Because Christ's actions took the shine off the Pharisees. Now they were less important now. Now we got to kill him. This guy got to go. He's taking our shine from us. He's taking our validation from us. I'm losing that constant puffing up of the ego that I need to survive. I gotta have somebody tell me I'm the shit.
I'm on point.
If not, I'm gonna look for somebody who will. For a narcissist, the compliments and the respect was the drug. Okay, I'm the Kohan. I am the priest.
Look at me.
I am the Kohan. I am spiritual. I'm the go-to guy. What you gonna say?
I had a question. I met a lot of people with these kind of characteristics in them. But what I notice about these people, I don't know if I missed it if you brought this out. What I notice about some of these people is they have a reason, they have a purpose behind it. They do it. The commonality in a few of these people is they do it to hide their own flaws.
Yes, their own insecurity.
If I can make myself look better, or I can put you down in front of other people, that lifts me up. That helps me to hide that they don't focus so much on me. Now I got them all looking at you.
The whole persona was established to hide from me. So I got to create this persona so I can feel better about me every day.
Okay.
That's what it was made for. It's about the uplifting and the building up of my fractured, weak, psychopathic ego. So now, my image of who I am, especially when you give men the law, you give people the scriptures. You can't tell an Israelite nothing. You give them the scriptures, huh? You can't tell them nothing.
They learn 5 books. That's it.
It's over, bro. It's game over. Game over. You can't tell them nothing. You got 5 books. I'm a Kohan now. Call me Kohan. Forget that I'm the priest. I am a priest now.
Right.
Address me accordingly. It's the truth.
Good father.
You will be surprised how many people operate like that. And that's the truth. But that image, that's what people want to be looked upon.
And Christ said, "Why?"
They don't want to look like the insecure guy, the guy full of pride and flaws and insecurities. No. I'm the priest. This is it. This is what I want you to see. Don't see anything else. I'm the priest. That's what narcissists do. That's what narcissists in this arena do. In the world, their covering is their money, their riches, their clout. But what clout does a man have in here? But your priesthood? How many years you been in? Your stripes? I've been here. I was here. I was doing this. I was doing this over there. And that's my image.
I never knew.
So you don't got to see me. Now you don't got to see me. You look at the pedigree.
Yeah, that's true.
You look at my pedigree. Don't look at me. That's what the Pharisee is.
Yeah.
This is the pedigree. This is the many years I've been in. Don't look at the real me. That is what it is. So then I can look down on people who don't match the pedigree. Now it's not about me working on what's inside of me, you working on what's inside of me until Christ comes back. There we go. So now that's what the hypocrisy is. It's the lie. I want you to believe the lie and not see the real person. And this is how Israel gets caught up with that narcissism. That is how narcissism is executed in this arena. Okay, Ecclesiastes 1 and 29 and 30. From the top again.
Ecclesiastes 1, verse 29. Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest.
Be considerate of what you say and how you say, but you have to have empathy and consideration to do that. Most narcissists lack that. Read on.
Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall.
Exalt not thyself with your image, with your view of how you look at yourself. Don't create this image, because you're going to fall by that same image that you create for yourself. Read on.
Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so the Most High discover thy secrets.
Why would he say the Most High is going to discover your secrets? Because you're hiding your secrets with the image of what you say you are. You've created this image. He said the Most High is going to sit back and discover that weak shit you've been hiding for all these damn years. And you ain't going to be able to hide it no more. So sit back here and stop creating the image in the first place.
Oh, this is crazy, man.
This is courtesy shit. It's a perfect scripture, Shamshawan. If you listen in there in TV land, you was right on point with it. But read that part again. It says, and bring dishonor upon thy soul.
Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so the Most High discover thy secrets, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation.
But that's what the hypocrite fears, is to get brought down in front of the congregation, and so you can be exposed for what you really are. That's what the hypocrite, not the hypocrite or the narcissist hates. That's why people don't confess to their issues. It takes years before they confess to their sins in front of the congregation, because they don't want to be found out. I want to sit back and operate in darkness and secrecy and not be revealed for the person that I am. I want to sit back and keep the lie going, keep this image of who I am going, so you don't see the real me. So I can keep bullshitting people, huckstering people, and using people to get what I want.
To my advantage.
To my advantage. To my narcissistic advantage. And he says, you keep doing it, you keep creating this image, I'm going to sit back and bring dishonor because you're hiding, you're faking it. You're feigning who you say you are. That's what the hypocrite is, right?
Play actor.
The hypocrite is the play actor to pretend one who feigns to be what he is not. That person who's faking to be who he's not, creating this image of being spiritual but ain't, they get revealed and exposed. And he said, I'm going to bring you down in front of all the congregation. Read on.
Because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Most High.
Because you didn't come into the truth of the fear of the Most High. You didn't come to the truth about seeing who you are as a person. You focusing on breaking what's in you, what didn't matter. Keeping the lie up mattered. And because keeping the lie up mattered is where the Most High bring you down to where everybody can see you for who you are anyway. You're creating this image for naught. Read on.
But thy heart is full of deceit.
Exactly.
The deceit is the self-conceited lie.
It's the lie. It's the story I've created for people to believe. Yeah. And your whole mind was focused on maintaining a lie versus dealing with the reality and truth about yourself. So the Most High sits back here, sees it, and exposes that weakness so everybody can see it. He said the Most High is going to discover your secrets to where it can't be hid anymore. This is the fate of the narcissist. This is the fate of the hypocrite. It's the same fate. We're going to let that go. I think we're done with that. Right?
Concept.
Okay, so now we're going to get back into that definition. We're in number C, where it says narcissists are low in agreeableness. And we're going to go, some people with NPD are low in agreeableness. They can be condescending toward other people, and they may have a sense of entitlement, which makes them believe others are beneath them. They also expect others around them to look at them and admire them for their perceived greatness.
Expect.
And if you don't sit back here, exactly.
I have an expectation, and it's unspoken.
But you're supposed to look at me a certain way.
But it's implied.
You're supposed to follow the image that I've created you to follow. And if you don't buy it, it says, and they can be prone to thinking that others must envy them for this greatness.
Yep.
So that's why they're not sitting back here reacting the way I want to, because they're envious of me. It's a whole thing.
And they pay envy stories.
Yep.
They don't just think that. They don't just think that. No, they create these conversations on the side.
These narratives. And then we get arrogant and haughty behaviors. Those with NPD may be snobbish, disdainful, and condescending. They tend to talk down to people who they believe are inferior to them. So now we're going to get to the letter D, and we're going to stop at D, because if not, like I said, we got E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and M. So if you got 5 of these joints, listen, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. So that's like 13 out. And the probability of getting 5 is kind of high at 5 out of 13, bro. Anyway.
Well, if you act like this and you think like this.
Hell yeah. Listen, there'll be a lot of ducks walking around here.
People who
13 out, 13 options.
Narcissist.
Let me stop. So the letter D.
So what if you have more than 5?
You're a super narcissist.
Top notch.
Super duper. Top notch narcissist. Get the most. That's the less
of. But it would be obvious at this point if you had that.
Well, yeah, that's why I said super narcissist.
I'm not just a narcissist. I'm a
super narcissist.
I love it.
Cousin. Son. Well, that's MPD stuff, son. So, the fourth one. This is going to be a little bit, man. Okay. Number 4 is...
Hey, this all comes from not being spiritual, bro. Not studying, not changing.
Well, that, and it comes from the world.
Yeah.
These approaches come from the world.
And not being willing to fix them.
And that's the issue.
It's like if you have an infection, and you don't want to sit here and get medication, the infection gets out of hand.
Yep.
It happens with people. We have aspects of narcissism with it.
Yes.
We have aspects and ratios of narcissism, percentages of narcissism is.
Okay.
But because you deny them and ignore them, and I don't want to see it as not true, over time these things grow out of control. And they become the man.
Okay. So now, this is letter D. We're going to jump into... People, okay, this one deals with lack of empathy. People with narcissistic personality disorder sometimes are unable to understand and sense the emotional needs of other people.
That's a major problem.
They are too engrossed in thinking about themselves.
I'm disconnected.
And often can't relate to how other people feel.
I'm disconnected because it's about me.
Exactly.
Bottom line.
And I got to get what I need out the deal. So with the amount of energy it takes for me to keep up this lie, keep up this energy and this image, and the amount of energy it takes for me to sit back here and get people to sit back and feed into my negative, I can't consider. I don't have time to consider you.
And this is why they damage people in their relationships.
Huh.
This is why this particular error right here. Mm-hmm. This is why I damage people in relationships. Because I make everything about me. And I cannot be connected to your ups and downs and feed your spirit because it's about me. So that's why people are drained around them.
Yep. Because it's a one. Listen, a narcissist has a string of one-sided relationships. The person that lacks empathy, it's a one-way relationship. The person who is perceived as the inferior has to do all the consideration, all the love, and nothing is given back.
And they're takers.
And that's what a lack of empathy is. It's take. And then when I keep taking and you don't receive and you don't keep giving, then I hate you because you stop giving them.
I hate you because you stop feeding my character.
And the whole process is the whole process of no empathy, no consideration to how I treat you. So
you're expected to suffer.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Because the only thing that matters is me getting what I need. I.
And what they do is they low key train you to be like this.
Yeah.
Over time, it doesn't start like that day one.
I know.
They play the character, they play the role, and then little by little start inoculating this expectation.
Because they start off the image of strength,
Yeah.
and I have answers,
Yep.
and there's stability,
That's
and,
why
and I can be a person you can come to if you need.
Yep.
And then the roles reverse, and now it's about you giving me what I need.
And take
But I have to create the image that I can present a person that can give you what you need. And then when you sit back and start giving to me, it's a perpetual of giving and no get back.
Yeah, I'm a parasite now.
Yes.
Now you found out that you got connected to a parasite in the spirit.
Yep. Yep.
That's right.
That's funny.
It's all facts.
That's right.
So a lack of empathy. People with MPD might sometimes be unable to understand and sense the emotional needs of other people. They're too engrossed in thinking about themselves and often don't relate to how people feel. They often genuinely don't understand the viewpoint of other people.
And it's genuine.
Because they can't see it. Because they're not wired to consider other people. Yeah. They're wired to consider their need.
It's about
and to create and to protect the management of this image that they've created.
They play the character of the control freak.
God.
Everything's about control. Everything's to be this way, and you can't step on a crack.
And if you're not serving me, and if it's not a one-way relationship, then you don't care.
Yeah.
Then you don't give a shit about me.
You're the bad guy.
You're the bad guy because you're not supplying me with what I need. So I'm gonna keep reversing and switching the situation where you're the bad person, you're the bad person. You don't care because you slowed down on my supply.
I did that because of you.
Yes.
They're the kings and queens of I did this because of you.
Yep.
What the hell?
If you would have just do this,
you
this,
made
this,
me do this
and give me more supply, then I won't react this way to you.
You made me this. Everything I'm reacting this way because you made me do this. You made me act this way. I'm not getting this. Therefore, I have to be extreme this way, and my behavior is justifiable because of you and your lack and your what is it? Your deficits and what you lack as a person is why I am this way today.
Yes. Your deficits are why I'm distant.
There you go.
Your deficits are why I don't give a shit about you.
Okay.
Why I'm cold. I'm not just cold because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm cold because your deficits are just bringing out this bad part of me.
Yeah.
You're bringing this negative out of me.
So you're hiding.
It's your fault.
You're hiding the fact that you're shitty.
Yeah.
By saying that they're shitty.
Yes, they're shitty. That's narcissism.
You're a bad person, bro. And you need to work on the scriptures and the spirit. And work on change.
Listen,
but you can't change because you can't tell nobody.
I got
say nothing.
Exactly.
So I can't lose the costume, so we can never get this fixed.
Can you not see the cycle? It's a sad cycle. It really is. And then a lot of times men will sit back here and use the whole marriage thing as the wife's supposed to serve them to feed the narcissism also. And not realizing that even in a marriage, there has to be consideration and concession
on both sides.
But because woman's supposed to serve, that's my justification to be a narcissist.
No,
and to revolve everything around serving me.
So I'll play the kahan, I'll play the priest rabbi role.
I'm the rabbi around the men.
Yeah.
But then around the women or on the wife, you're supposed to serve me. So there's supposed to be no considerations on my end. It's just one-sided servitude.
One-sided, and let me clarify. So we're not against the relationship of subject.
A wife's supposed to serve their husband, no doubt.
Yeah, we're not. We teach that. So we'll cut that. Oh, these guys are saying, can you believe there's a new thing, a new way of this? I cannot believe these brothers saying that you have to serve your don't serve a man. Ha ha! What kind of man is that? There ain't no heroes out. No, we're not talking about that.
You gotta make sure you slow down in what you just said. You jumped a lot of different conversations back and forth. What Dawkins is saying is that we are still pro-wife serving their husband.
Yeah.
That has never changed.
But we are not about one-way take parasitic vampire.
Not building your wife's
We're not about
spirit
vampires, bro.
Exactly.
The word husband means person's supposed to sit here and deal with his garden, right? What kind of garden doesn't water their garden? You want fruits, you want vegetables, you want berries, but you don't want to get up and pull weeds? You don't want to sit here and get rid of invaders from the outside? You don't want to put a fence up, a hedge around your garden?
That's what I was going to say about the hedge.
Oh, you go there. You don't want to sit here and get water and put water in the garden. You don't want to dung your garden. Didn't Christ say that with the fig tree, hey, this man right here is not producing figs. Let me redung him. Wasn't he being a husband?
Yep.
Is it the Most High our husband as a nation? So the Most High is a narcissist. He wouldn't redung us with Christ.
Well, even the scripture said we're supposed to love our wife like Christ loved the church.
There you go.
So right there, you're supposed to still sit back here and teach. You're supposed to invest. You're supposed to love. You're supposed to develop. So that's what we're saying. It's not a one-sided. It's not an excuse to be a narcissist, even in a marriage.
Due benevolence.
There's got to be due benevolence. That's what we're saying.
No. I'm a man, and it's about you serving me. You must serve.
Because I'm gonna tell you this. That's another thing that I've been around Israel for years. It's been on that shit.
You must
since
serve.
the '90s, bro.
I've been in the
'90s.
You got pride. You're wicked. You're out the spirit.
Shemai!
And you don't want to.
Shemai!
You don't want to.
Shemai! Shemai! You might as well just be like Osborne said. Shit. You might as well do the Osborne. But babe. I mean, that's how brothers be. That's how I used to be back in the day, right? Like, damn, can she talk? Can she vent? But, you know,
I don't hear no problems. Ain't no problems. There's no problems in this house.
Lock in.
Why aren't you locking in?
Listen, this is a real thing, bro. Well, this is a real thing. This is another aspect.
But you're not sitting here doing the biblical work and exampleship. You're not sitting here doing the teaching and the counseling. You're not sitting here doing the listening and the understanding the problem
and asking yourself, is there something I can do to fix? Can I fix something that I do in this marriage too? The narcissist lacks empathy. The narcissist lacks the ability to see it another way. They lack the ability to see how their actions have effect on other people.
You should not.
All they see is how what the wife is doing or the brother is doing that makes them feel a certain way. That is a classic narcissist. If it takes hours of thinking and the meditation to understand why this person is tripping, or this person is tripping. Do people just trip for the hell of tripping? Do people get angry for the hell of just being angry? There is a reason, and half the time it's things that you do that cause a reaction from another person.
I can't believe you're reacting to my negative.
Exactly.
I'm going to punish you for reacting to my negativity.
Yeah.
That's what that spirit is.
Kinda.
It's a parasite.
With men to men, husbands to wives, it's the same thing, man. This is a real damn thing. And we're saying he, because even in these breakdowns, it explains that 80% of people that are narcissists are men. So most of the time it's through men than women. That's why we keep saying he. Just so we can understand. So, on this part D, lack of empathy, people with NPD some are unable to understand and sense the emotional needs of other people. They're too engrossed in thinking about themselves.
They're elementary school level when it comes to understanding people and their emotions. They have elementary understanding of other. Well, they did this. They feel this way because of this. It doesn't even match when you really listen to it. Like, they're doing this because this reason. That's very surface, bro.
Or the reasoning just doesn't make sense when you put that person in counsel. They're thinking this doesn't even fit. It doesn't fit because it's me centralized and based. Yeah. So then it says they're too engrossed in thinking about themselves and often can't relate to how other people feel. They often genuinely don't understand the viewpoint of other people.
Genuinely.
Because they can't think about what you're going through and then focus on them too.
Because I lose my time.
I'm losing my selfish thinking. I gotta have time to be in my world. I gotta keep this image strong.
What you dealing with? Oh, I need time for me. I need a break for me right now. I'll get to you next week. The week after that.
Here's another one. Listen, narcissists never develop the ability to identify with the feelings of others, to put themselves in other people's shoes. In other words, they lack empathy.
Can't relate.
In many ways, they view the people in their lives as objects.
Listen, that's a very strong point.
Yes.
Looking at people as objects means they are resources.
Mm-hmm.
It says objects here.
Narcissistic supply.
There you go. Resource.
Okay.
You are my resource for this. You are my resource for this. You're my resource for this. And they play off of whatever type of need or hunger or appetites within them at the moment, then I go towards that object or person to get that need met.
Because so if you're in need, then there's no need for me to empathize. Because I'm using you to fulfill something that I need.
You're a resource.
You're a tool.
There you go.
It's not about love or care or brotherhood or connection. I need you to give this to me, so I'll keep you around as long as you're supplying what I need to.
I don't want to feel alone right now, so I'll deal with you because I don't want to feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
Then once I'm satiated and I'm fulfilled,
you can go and do your thing now.
Get out of here. No, I don't want to deal with you.
I'm good now.
I'm good. I have another need I'm looking to suffice.
Yeah, because I'm good
now.
Go
here.
I'm good, so let me go to find the other thing I need.
They're doing a lot of bouncing.
Yes.
Waste.
Because I'm bouncing from one need to the other. Yeah. People they're bots. Yeah. They're not like real people.
They're bots.
People are bots. I need this from this bot. I need this from this other bot. This bot gives me what I need on Tuesdays. This bot gives me what I need on Fridays. Let me be around this bot. This is my Monday bot.
Yeah.
This is how narcissists think.
This is their algorithm.
They're takers.
Yeah.
There's no consideration. There's no give and take. There's no I give. You give. There's no you give, I give. It's take.
I want sherbet over here. I want zesty meats over here.
Yes.
I'm in the mood for drink.
But if you're young and listen, but in our realm, we have to sit back and serve the young, serve the weak, right?
Yeah.
So, but the weak, they can't give me anything. So I don't want them. I don't want to deal with these people that are always sick. I don't get anything out of it. Yeah. I gotta give too much of me, so now I'm gonna disdain them. Because being around all these young spirits, they're too needy.
And the goal is, by me being negative towards you, you'll request less. I want you to request less from me. I'm subliminally implying
I don't want to do this. So I'm going to be short with you. I'm going to be angry.
I'm always mad.
Yep.
I'm always mad. I'm always tired. I'm always puffing. I'm always having attitude. I'm telling you by implication, by implying, that stop needing me. I don't want to be needed because it kills my liberty.
Yep.
These spirits need liberty.
To go find other bots to take from.
I have to establish liberty, and I have to establish freedom, and I have to establish a loose gray area, and I have to establish narratives and stories to give me liberty and space to chase my pursuits. Right. So these people are always in pursuits. On a priestly level, it happens that way. On a husband level, it practices that way. On a brother-to-brother level, it happens that way. I gotta be vague. How's they going? Oh, everything's just, you know what it is. You know it is what it is. You're keeping everything vague, so you can't be seen, you can't be direct. So they end up being these people that talk sideways, and they never come correct, they never come straight. They have very sideways conversations. They're never direct or clear, because I don't want you to catch my words so you can hold me to anything. Mm-hmm. They're very, you can't hold them to any type of, you can't hold this person to any kind of concrete objective standard.
Everything you're saying is right, sis. They don't care about the specific person or what that person will provide them. If they could get the same thing from someone else with more ease, they would leave the current person with no hesitation, even if it hurts the current person, because they don't have a consideration towards the person.
Yeah.
All they consider is, I need access to what this person can bring me. They're just a tool. They're a means to an end. That's how narcissists think.
And it's the problem. All dogs don't go to heaven. So you want to play this game out?
I need to sit ready to break that down.
Listen, bro. If you don't want to fix it, you don't want to change it. Listen, there's a story called All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I know the movie. I get it.
Right? But that's a game, and that's a game in itself. It's the expectation that I can just be me, and I'm gonna go to heaven just being me. You can just be the person you want to be the beast, and then I'm just gonna wake up in the kingdom and smile and look at angels all day.
Look at angels?
That's what you think. But what my understanding is, you're gonna wake up and look, and it's not gonna be so funny. It's not gonna be so good, because guess what? I didn't make the proper changes. So at the end of the line, there is a place for me to be.
Because this is why when Christ talks about that, he says, "When I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was cold, did you clothe me?" And then the guy says, "Listen, when were you ever down here that you needed to be taken care of?" He said, "You just sit back and deal with my sheep. I get sick, huh?" But the narcissist is too busy taking from the sick to give back.
And the sheep.
That's the point. He says, "Man, you're going to be cast out in the fire."
Outer darkness, yeah.
In outer darkness.
Was
it's because they like empathy.
And although you do have 5 books in your repertoire,
yeah, you got breakdowns.
You got 5 books and 30 breakdowns because you shitted on Christ's sheep, and you shitted on your wife,
because
and you shitted on the brotherhood.
Because you gave your life to your narcissistic supply,
and your life was 90% in pursuance of your fancies and not in dedication. You misallocated the energy you had for the benefit of your people. You allocated it to living a selfish life, but you had the knowledge. The knowledge is condemning once you know better. Once I know better, Christ didn't come to condemn men. But what men do is they reject Christ to be narcissists.
Huh?
The Pharisees did what?
They reject Christ.
They rejected Christ to continue in their narcissism. That's what happens. When you reject the reality of Christ and his mindset, now you have to play the Pharisee role. But there's a consequence for that.
We're going to sit back and finish this paragraph, and we'll do more next week. Because I don't want to rush even this letter D. So, because we have 2 more ways to explain this one too. Read it from the top again. Narcissists never develop the ability to identify with the feelings of others, to put themselves in other people's shoes. In other words, they lack empathy. In many ways, they view the people in their lives as objects there to serve their needs. As a consequence, they don't think twice about taking advantage of others to achieve their own ends. Sometimes this interpersonal exploitation is malicious, meaning sometimes the exploitation of others is due based off the fact that they manipulated it themselves, but often it is simply oblivious. So a lot of times they're just not conscious of the fact that they're just chewing people up, using them, and spitting them out. A narcissist sometimes just lives their life, they're just taking out and not realizing the effect of their selfishness. And this is why it's so important to bring out the narcissist effort in front of everybody, so people can see, the individuals can see. So now we can start the process of going to work on the sickness.
That's true too.
I'm going to say this, you're right about Edomites, but it's Israelites too. There's a lot of damn Jews in the biggest, longest phalangeries that is just as narcissistic as white folks are. Straight up. Israel is just as bad. Then it says, narcissists simply don't know or simply don't think about how their behavior affects others. And if you point it out, they truly won't get it. The only thing they understand is their own needs. It takes counsel after counsel after counsel after counsel to get a person to see the magnitude of how their selfishness and their negative affects people.
Okay. I'll hear this counsel because it affects me.
Yes.
I'll listen to this counsel because I want to get what I want.
Because if I listen, I'm going to get my narcissist supply in the back end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to act like I'm listening, but I really don't care. I think you're just talking. And you're just getting this crap out. Let's hurry up and get this over with so I can sit back here and get back to what I need.
Yeah.
To the real business at hand.
The real
business at hand is getting what I need. So let's go through this. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, so now I need this.
Song and dance.
Give me what I need. Give me what I need. I'm going to find somebody else who will give me what I need. I will replace you with somebody else that will give me what I need.
It's a bad duck here, right?
And if you point it out, they truly won't get it. The only thing they understand is their own needs. And we're going to sit back here. Let's go with a scripture and finish it out. Philippians 2 verse 1.
Because there's 2. And I've trained myself and I've made this concept, this ideal normal. I've normalized this. That's why I don't think it's a problem.
Yep. Well, because my whole mind is fixated on this type of thinking. It's a whole mindset.
Philippians.
It is a distemper. That's why we started from the beginning. It's a distemper. Let me see.
I think the common denominator is the fact that at the end of it all, they think they're better than the people they're dealing with.
But they've created the costume. The costume is better.
Yeah.
The person on the inside ain't better.
Right.
It's the costume is better. It's the costume. He got this big ass Incredibles outfit on that.
You have the best
office hair, his big red suit on and shit out.
You got
with the puffy muscle on the outside. Like I'm really strong and potent in the spirit. But you're not, bro. Stop, that was the first thing I think about is Incredibles. You get the point, though.
He was trying to keep up with his old self when he was in the beginning.
But not in reality, like this, he sucked it all in.
Oh, this is a real guy?
Yeah.
It's silly, man. It's nothing, man. Philippians chapter 2, verse 1 through 7.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 1. If there be therefore any consolation in Yahushua, if any comfort of spirit, if any fellowship of the Spirit,
If there's any, read on.
if any bowels and mercies.
He's going into what's the comfort in serving the Most High? What's the comfort in committing yourself to this lifestyle? Read on.
Verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy.
We're supposed to fulfill Christ's joy. We're supposed to fulfill what Christ wanted us to develop and give ourselves to. Not my own joy. It was never about us. This is why Christ had to attack the Pharisees and that narcissistic mindset. He had to attack that because that spirit of selfishness was running rampant in the nation. So he says, what was Christ's joy? Read on.
It says that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
But what was this one mind and one accord predicated on? Give me verse 3.
Verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory.
Nothing can be done based on vainglory, based off of the glorifying of myself, the glorifying of my image, the boosting up of my ego. It was never supposed to be ego-based. The things we do for the Most High wasn't supposed to be ego-based. Yeah. The teaching wasn't supposed to be ego-based. The counseling wasn't supposed to be ego-based.
Or self-beneficial.
Or self-beneficial, because that's what ego is. It's the benefiting of your psyche, benefit of how you feel about yourself. This work was supposed to be 100% pure for the interest and benefit of others. Because if there was any other leaven or vainglory in it, that's where the corruptness comes in.
That's true.
It was nothing that we do was supposed to be for you. That was the glory or comfort or consolation in Christ. Was that nothing that you did benefited you. It benefited the body. That was the only way you can justify being right with the Heavenly Father. Read on.
But in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves.
Do you see how Christ's message goes completely opposite of the narcissist?
He's anti-narcissist, yeah.
He's anti-narcissist. He said you're supposed to esteem others better than yourself. Every single person that you come into in your life and you're engaged in your life, you're supposed to look at them and value them before you. You're supposed to come last in every single relationship you come in contact with. He says the greatest of you have to be the greatest what? Servant. This is how you break that spirit in you.
But that narcissist cannot see or even relate to the condition of the people around him.
And that's why our job is to constantly point out that selfish, narcissistic spirit in all of us. We might not have 5 of them, but there could be 1. There could be 1.5.
Or 3.
There could be 2. There's some leaven there. And if we're honest and if we're humble, we can all sit back here and take this class and start working on the meat and potatoes of us, our inner motivation, our inner reasoning.
Looking at people's objects.
And how we have to sit back and stop looking down and operating in a destructive mindset towards the people that are here to serve the Most High in the first place. Continue.
Verse 4. Look not every man on his own thing.
You're not supposed to look at your brother or sister like an object, a tool to get you something that you need, a means to an end,
a come up,
a win. Stop looking at your people as objects and tools.
It's a hireling mindset. It's a hireling mindset.
It's a taking mindset. Stop being in the mindset of taking. Read on.
But every man also on the things of others.
We should be about how we can build up and strengthen the people around us. Not take and tear down.
And exploit.
And use. And then when you're fed up of giving, just discard them.
And abuse people.
But that's the point. Because now after they're all given out, now you just move them to the side and kick them to the curb.
And it's cool until
it ain't cool.
No, it's cool till you wake up and it's like, oh, the reality is the judgment was I gotta deal with eternal fire for that. Because the Most High, you damaged the conscience towards Christ. It wasn't just about you sin.
Listen, the little ones aren't just children, bro.
Yeah.
The little ones are people that you're responsible for, that you screw over.
That's what you're not
Those
saying.
are little ones too.
You're looking at, oh, this broke a commandment, I broke a law. Oh, I'm a little selfish here and there. But you damage the sheep's conscience up. You disturb their perception of Christ because you presented the priest.
Yep.
You presented the spiritual husband.
Yep.
You presented the righteous man. And then you damage and distort their perspective of Christ. Christ has to revenge his sheep.
Okay.
Because you distorted their relationship. He was trying to use you as a tool to pull in that sheep so he could build that connection. So he has to avenge that sheep because he lost the connection with the sheep through your misappropriation of power.
Yep.
That's what it is.
All facts, bro. Read verse 5.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Yahushua.
And this is why Christ, in coming on earth and walking and living, was so important. Because Israel will sit back here and take this information, take the knowledge, take the bare bones concepts, and they'll still distort it. They'll still distort it without Christ's example being there. Christ's example on top of the law gives us the balance we need to be better brothers, better husbands, better men in Christ. Read on.
Verse 6. Who, being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High.
Christ didn't find it robbery to be equal to the Most High in example and works because they were in the same mindset.
We agree on the same thing. We are both advocates of this mindset. We're both advocates for his sheep and his people. We're both advocates for the development and betterment of his nation.
And this is why Christ said you can't go to him unless you go through me. But you're really going through the same mentality. But you got to follow his example to get to the Most High. Read on.
You have to discard your conscience, discard your needs, your selfish needs,
your pride, your vain, your vanity, your pride, your vanity, your narcissism, your distemper, your distorted way of looking at things.
He's a thief and
because that thief, that stealing is about just revolving everything around you. That's the mind of the narcissist. Everything's got to be revolved around how you feel, your mood. How your day is going. And everybody got to just have a shitty day because you have.
How about everybody's day is shitty? Everybody got challenges and problems and personal life issues.
But if you're about sitting back here and looking after what the men need, then come out of yourself so that the men can sit back here and be brought up. Versus if I'm down, I'm tearing everybody else down. The whole mindset that Christ is teaching us is to go opposite of how we want to be. But read on.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 7.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I have to be, this might sound extreme, man, but it's the truth. It's pre-Luciferian, bro. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. That narcissistic way of thinking is pre-Luciferian. Because this Luciferian mindset is all about do as thou wilt. You're just one step from do as thou wilt. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're a narcissist, based on scripture and based on the 13 points, you're pre-Luciferian, which is just pre-do as thou wilt. Looking at people's objects, taking, hurting the sick, looking at people negative, not wanting to change, not wanting to make differences, not wanting to sit here playing roles, playing characters, being inauthentic. You're almost walking as the man himself, the negative guy. You're almost walking. You're not walking 100% in his footsteps, but you're predisposed to that. You're only a couple notches from operating completely in that kind of spirit. You know?
Yes.
I mean honest. I don't want. It sounds extreme, but it's not. If you keep this spirit going and don't fix it, don't solve it, don't have the will to fix it, it's just pre-Luciferian.
Yeah.
There's all kinds. There's different degrees of wisdom, different degrees of selfishness, but the higher degrees of selfishness go straight to Luciferianism.
Everything is about degrees. And this is why Christ is trying to lock us in to how he thinks. The closer we get to how he thinks, listen, Esau's answer to all these diagnoses is drugs, pills,
Him winning
antidepressants.
Oh,
I'm going to keep you on drugs. That's the solution. But the real solution is to get in this book, be humble, and be around brothers who will sit back here and tell you where you're off.
Help.
And you be humble enough to submit to the solutions. And it's a combination of study and reading, sincerity. And we read in Josephus chapter 3, I mean, not chapter 3, but book 3, chapter 11, paragraph 3, where it said that if they had obtained by prayer to the Most High the recovery from that distemper and had gained a healthy complexion again, that distemper ain't leaving without prayer, without humility, without studying, without servitude, without a strong desire to make a change from within. That's the level of work it's going to be on top of following, living in the Gospels. If you want to get rid of that narcissism, you got to live in the Gospels. Because the Gospel is going to pull you out of that selfish, narrow-minded mindset.
It's going to expose the altered thinking. Your thinking is the antithesis of what Christ was saying. It's opposite.
Because you can hide that mindset can hide if you just keep with the robotic commandments.
Yeah.
Now, as we've been going and reading all throughout the Old Testament, if you dig deep there, you'll see it. But people want to stay surface on things
and be ceremonial.
Yeah. So if you take it deeper either way, you're going to see that your thinking is off. But let's finish this. It's getting late, man. Let's finish verse 7.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 7. But made himself of no reputation.
Listen, you got to make yourself of no reputation. That means you can't look down on nobody. You can't make it about you at all. You can't make it about what you want at all. The only thing that you should want is that your people get developed. The only thing that you should want is that your people get healed.
You're retraining what brings you pleasure. There's nothing wrong with wanting pleasure as long as you train your mind to have Christ's pleasure. That makes us the good servant. My pleasure is the fact that you're good. And instead of being an object, now I'm a resource for you. I'm your resource.
And that's the changing of your thinking.
That's the shift that makes you, that Christ wants. He's trying to have mercy and teaches this so we can have that mental shift.
Continue.
And took upon him the form of a servant.
This is what it's going to take to break a narcissistic spirit, is to operate like a servant. If you can give your mind to servitude, you can break and reverse that sickness in yourself.
By the nature of the
work,
job.
The nature of the work, the nature of what you do every day, that will reverse that thinking. Read on.
And was made in the likeness of men.
And that just shows he wasn't an angel. The Most High was an angel. Christ was an angel when he came down.
He dealt with real life problems. He had real life issues like we all do. But he followed the Most High's method correctly. He was the perfect example of the understanding of the Bible. And he had all they had was the Old Testament.
Yep. The point is this. That is the first part. We can go. I don't know how many days we're going to go into it, but there will be a part 2, and there might be a part 3, but at least a part 2. Are there any questions? Okay, Israel, Tawada for tuning in. We're going to shut it down today, and we will have class on Wednesday. Shalom. Tawada for tuning in, everybody. See y'all soon. Tawada. Shalom.